$1 million this year.
Yeah, I need to correct myself. It's his brother, actually. It's his brother, Tad. So I apologize for getting that wrong. But his brother, Tad Prescott, said on Twitter there is a reason.
Welcome to Sikkim 365 Radio.
He has time, launches it to the end zone. Touchdown! Terrence Williams!
Sikkim 365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
High expectations for this team. Going downfield again. Could it be? Oh, my! Lanier Sampson! Unbelievable! RG3 does it again!
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Stottlemyre ready again with a 3-2 pitch. Drill to center field. Bo Jackson going over, leaps and can't get it. It goes all the way to the fence. Deion Sanders blazing around second. Tapper goes over to get the ball, plays it in there, waving him home. The throw to the plate gets on by. Sanders flies over, and now he is safe at home. There's a pile of bodies at the plate.
Have you downloaded the Sikkim 365 Radio app? Do it today on the App Store and Google Play. Here's David Smoke and Paul Catalina.
That play you just heard with Bo Jackson was not able to track down a Deion Sanders line drive, and the speed of Deion, which is world-class, nearly world-class, probably was, the inside the park home run 30 years ago today, as that's part of the Open. And Paul Catalina and David Smoke with you, Sikkim 365. Craig Smoke taking some time off. He'll be back on Tuesday with us. We are loaded today, including we're going to re-rack and replay the Robert Griffin III interview from earlier this week on Tuesday about many things about his career and also America Today. So Craig Smoke not here, but he'll be back Tuesday. He sent some stories in today, quite a bit of them, including, of course, as a lot of people have seen, the Big 12 media poll on where in the 10 teams in the conference where they stack up. Deontay Epps, is he social distancing again?
Yeah, he is. He's at home, and I think his fiance is convinced that we're diseased.
Well, we are not so much because of COVID. At least we don't think so. And Amelia Myers with the graphic today. We appreciate her. Paul Catalina here. David Smoke Woodrow chilling on the floor next to us. So we have Lanier Sampson and also Travis McClain, a couple of former Baylor receivers. Lanier now at Central Florida as an assistant coach. Travis McClain's an assistant coach at Salina. We'll also hear from Grayson Grundhafer on football and basketball recruiting with Baylor. He'll join us at 3:45. Also today, we'll have at Tyler Holcomb, the head coach at Riker, as TAPS has made a decision about when they will actually start the calendar for the 2020 athletic fall schedule and workouts. He'll be a part of the show today. And who else? Oh, Jeremy Sohan will join us. Sohan will join us, the young man who was in Germany. We had a chance to visit with him earlier today, the latest Baylor men's basketball recruit. He'll join us today as well at 4 o'clock. And I think we got pretty much everybody locked up. All right, let's start with this, the Big 12 media poll. Oh, by the way, Andrew Baker. Now, you may not know of him if you're on Sikkim 365 Radio, which we've been since April the 6th. He was a producer for us at the radio station and then left, went on a journey into France and Italy.
France and Spain.
And went on this like 100-mile, maybe longer hike.
Longer than that, yeah.
And it was an amazing thing. He just needed to clear his head. Girl issues.
Yeah.
And he did, and he sent pictures. He had blisters, but he had the best time. He was up in the mountains in Tellerud,
Telluride.
Same place in Colorado. Telluride, there's a couple of those in the parking lot where I live. So Telluride, Colorado.
Telluride sounds so much more exotic.
It does sound. It sounds like fancy. Like that could be like a European or South American. Yeah. So he was at the top of this mountain in Telluride, Colorado, and he bumps into a man named Gary Blair.
Really?
Out of everywhere he was on the top of this mountain with this gorgeous waterfall, he could have met anybody. Mm-hmm. And there's Gary Blair, who's the women's basketball coach at A&M, won a national championship back in 2011. Mm-hmm. And Gary Blair. So you have Andrew, a disgusting human being because he's as disgustingly UT as anyone could be.
Ridiculous.
That alone, right?
Yeah.
And then Gary Blair, who's a coach at A&M, a picture, he sends it to me, the waterfall. That was just how, and then he calls me, and I talk to Gary Blair. I go, how you doing? Gary Blair was about to leave. Andrew Baker had just arrived in Telluride, Colorado. So I just wanted to throw that out there. All right, this poll, the media poll, there were 90 different media members who voted. That's a lot of numbers.
I voted.
I think all of us did.
Yeah.
The preseason media, the team, I also voted, but the Oklahoma overwhelming received 80 of the 90 first-place votes, nearly unanimous. I would have said Oklahoma State would have been second, although there's always a little bit of that lust for the burnt orange.
Well, and 4 people did vote for them, and that's why they're third. So.
Oklahoma State received 4 first-place votes. I thought that would be a little bit more just because of Rattler. And I know, yes, Tanner Mordecai, quarterbacks at Oklahoma, until we actually see them actually do something. And Rattler's the one that appears to be, as people have said now for almost a year, the front runner despite what we know about Tanner Mordecai from Midway. Texas third. You know what? You could almost say 10% of their vote is because of their logo. Now, I'm not saying that's not where they should be. But there's a little bit, there's almost like the Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's like the Cowboys.
Well, and Phil Steele made a good point that this year they have a lot more returning starters, and that does mean something most of the time in college football. So, yeah, I mean, that's about third or fourth is
But this was not a good day for the UT of Horns.
No.
All Hornhood. We'll have that in a moment. So, Oklahoma, nearly unanimous. Oklahoma State, slightly ahead of Texas. Iowa State fourth. I can see that.
Yeah.
I thought maybe because Matt Rule left, because the unknown of Dave Aranda and his staff, not the unknown of them, but the fact they have not had a chance to practice.
They haven't.
But with Charlie Brewer alone and the way they played defense, and despite losing so many starts, they still have so much talent on the defensive side of the ball. So Baylor's fifth. I would have thought they would have been 6 just because TCU gets a slight bump because of the Gary Patterson factor. But Baylor slightly ahead of TCU, 5 and 6. K-State 7. West Virginia, Texas Tech, and Kansas. Kansas, unless I'm wrong, 90 people voted. They got 100 votes, so 10 people did not vote them last, or somehow combination of that. And I think they'll be up a tick. It's just a matter, is it going to be enough to win? Is that about what you thought, Paul?
Yeah, that's about it. I think I struggled with where do I put Texas Tech above West Virginia, because if Alan Bowman plays, they're going to win some games. And they've shown that in the past. And I think with Matt Wells in year 2, if Alan Bowman can stay healthy, and his injuries were kind of strange in that you don't always have a lacerated organ that you have to come back from. And that's what he was dealing with most of the time. So I put them above West Virginia. I'm not sold on West Virginia at all. And Kansas is going to have to do more than they've done to get anywhere above 10th. But I think everything else, fell out.
Can you see, though, anywhere from about 5 to 10 being a jumbled mess? If it depends on how things go with.
Yeah.
Let's say Bowman plays. Let's say Neil Beatty. That's the guy's name? Who's the coach at West Virginia?
Yeah, Neil Beatty.
So that's where they are. Okay. That's the Big 12 preseason poll. The SWAC conference is meeting on Monday. The Council of Presidents and Chancellors, most word feels like they're going to probably shut it down for the fall. They're going to meet Monday to discuss fall sports. This is, of course, Grambling and Prairie View and Jackson State, Texas Southern, Mississippi Valley State, the alma mater of the great Jerry Rice, Alcorn,
Okay, I just thought of this because the question about the draft has been there for a while. So if you have a spring football season, would you, and you're going to be potentially drafted, would you not opt out of playing college football and just go ahead and go to the NFL draft? And then I wonder this, some teams need that, like some guys need that season to get noticed for the draft. Mm-hmm. So that, like, even if they want to opt out, they might need to play. And so if they do have a spring football season, if you're in the SWAC and you want to get noticed, is the NCAA and the NFL going to come to some kind of agreement that, look, the draft and this are going to overlap, or they'll push the draft back till after college football?
They're not
moving. The NFL's
I can't imagine the NFL doing that because they have their own schedule.
But would they overlap, kind of like Major League Baseball would do with the College World Series?
Yeah, maybe. The SEC has told athletes who choose not to play fall sports because of health safety concerns surrounding COVID will have their scholarships honored. That was a unanimous decision approved by the presidents and also the chancellors. The Colonial Athletic Colonial Athletic Association, that's James Madison. They're really, really good. They won the national title, beat North Dakota State. Aren't they the ones that actually won it a couple years ago,
Yep.
then lost last year? They've dominated this conference the last 3 to 5 years and maybe longer. They're the 4th FCS conference to decide not to play football this fall. So that's 4 out of 13. That's almost 1/3 of the FCS. Now, this story for high school football. This is Sikkim 365 Radio. Craig, Smoke, taking a deep breath for the next 4 days. Paul Catalina with me, David Smoke. The TAPS, the private schools, Riker and others, they have announced a delay with training camps. They'll start on September 15th, football. Games will begin September 28th, and it will be a 5-game season. So I wonder if what they're doing, the UIL is not going to react based on what the TAPS is doing. They're not going to do that.
But
they're going to make an announcement sometime on Monday.
But you can base your idea around someone else's idea.
So there's some games, like, for example, Riker plays teams that are UIL teams, public schools. So a 5-game zone play type season beginning September 25th, possibly even moving it back another week, but they're going to get the games in. UIL will make an announcement on something Monday. And
so
we'll have Tyler Holcomb of Riker. He'll join us. When I spoke to him earlier today, he was like thrilled that at least there's now something at least they can grab onto.
Well, they can plan for it. They don't have to, they're going to plan for 5 games. They're going to practice for about a month before, I mean, not quite a month, but a couple weeks. So they know what to do.
Just like September 8th, strength and conditioning, 15 pads, 21st, 1 scrimmage, start the next week.
And so this is regardless of whether they're in person or online.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's an important distinction, because a lot of schools have said around the country, like, look, we're not going to play sports unless we're doing in-person education, which in-person education to me seems like a lofty goal for at least that early in the year.
Yeah, I don't know about whether if classes have to be on campus or online. I did not read that part. Now, the TEA today softened its stance on in-person instruction, mandating as schools navigate around the coronavirus. We know there are certain school districts that said they're not going to start until sometime in September or later. But the agency issued new rules today, giving the local school districts more control over decisions on start dates and how long schools can remain closed and teach students online. The UIL, as I mentioned, will come up with their plan and announce it on Monday. 2 things happen in high school football. Both of these are based on the change in the culture in America, the social culture in America. Craig went to Robert E. Lee High School, as did Jennifer. Last night, Tyler Independent School District, by the way, their superintendent, Marty Crawford, Dr. Crawford, played baseball at Baylor. He was at West when there was the explosion. They unanimously voted to change the names of John Tyler and Robert E. Lee High Schools, which was, you could see this coming. And they have suggestions on some of the names of the schools, and that will come, I guess, at a later date. So both Robert E. Lee and John Tyler. Now, if this would have been some people with some brains and said, well, wait a minute, if you want to change Lee, you got to change John Tyler. And eventually, and Earl Campbell had a big impact with this by saying, no, we do. If we're going to change one, we change both. And so Tyler will change the names, and that's going to cost some money because of jerseys, because of
field.
I mean, not just football.
You got to repaint hallways and locker rooms.
And they had just absolutely renovated both schools, two beautiful campuses that had gotten old and stale. Yeah. So that's interesting. Hayes Consolidated, who's the last high school football team I ever played, and I want to forget that because I think the final score was like 42-20.
Buda, right?
In Buda, Texas, just south of Austin. Hayes Consolidated, the Rebels, are changing their last name, the mascot. The contenders, according to Rick Cantu of the Austin American-Statesman, the possibility, the Patriots or the Honey Badgers.
That'd be fun.
So Tyrann Mathieu will be has to be not an alum, but that's when I think of Honey Badgers. I guess are there Honey Badgers in Austin? In that area?
I'm going to look and see where the Honey Badger is.
Okay, so that's happening. Those are some high school football notes that had to do with the Civil War, I guess you could say.
No, the Honey Badger is widely distributed in Africa and Southwest Asia and the Indian subcontinent.
Sounds like a great name, though, and I don't think anyone in Texas probably uses that.
No, that's why they need to do something different.
254-339-1122. Your thoughts about the stories we've had so far. At Baylor at 5, is that too high? Is that not high enough? Oklahoma State, Texas, and then Iowa State in front of them. And then also, TAPS is going to start their first weekend of games would be September 28th. Is that something you think is about right? And what do you think the UIL is going to do? We'll have Lanier Sampson here, former Baylor wide receiver, in just a moment. Now, there was an offensive lineman that played at Texas. His name was Blake Brockemeyer. Paul, do you know how to spell his last name?
Well, I'm looking at it right now, so that wouldn't be fair.
He was a stud at Texas. And I think he may have played. I'm not sure. He may have played in the NFL.
He played in the NFL for quite a long time, yeah.
Okay. He's got 2 sons. He might have 5. I don't know. But Tommy.
Well, he has one that's at Texas right now.
Right.
Yeah.
2 of his sons today, both the highest-rated offensive lineman at tackle and center in America. Tommy is the number 2 ranked prospect in America overall. A 6'6", 280-pound tackle. His offers or his finalists were Texas, Clemson, LSU, Alabama, and Auburn. And this is a big legacy name at Texas. Mm-hmm. The brother's the number 1 ranked center in America. Both of them picked Alabama.
Yeah.
That's got to sting. That's got to sting Texas.
Yeah, but, you get to a point when you're that big of a prospect. And right now, if you're Tommy Brockemeyer and James Brockemeyer and the NFL is your goal, as an offensive lineman, the proof's in the pudding. It's Alabama. And Texas is where they are.
There was a time that you would go because Texas spit out the professional prospects in the offensive line, but they've had too many guys well overrated.
Well, and look, if this was 15 years ago, then, those other schools wouldn't even been in the mix. The Brockemeyers would have committed to Texas when they were 11 years old.
Matt Brown's there, who's having a great run right now at North Carolina. So they're gone. Remember now, didn't they just get the kid from Duncanville, Kendrick Blackshear?
Mm-hmm.
He committed to Alabama. So they're having their typical run. They've got, a bunch of guys in the top 300. But this is these are 2 brothers, legacy brothers with Brockemeyer with what he did at Texas and his son. One of his sons already there. Baseball, COVID-19. 5 player positive tests over the last week. That's a great number.
Yeah. One of them is Yasiel Puig, who just signed with the Braves. So he's out for a little bit. But we're a week away from actual real games. I'm very curious to see what happens in Toronto. Toronto has not yet fully approved. The Blue Jays right now can only stay at the hotel in the Rogers Center, which is where they play, and go to the field.
Right.
So they're essentially locked in this one building. That's all they can do.
Which is probably not bad.
No, I mean, it's not bad, but I mean, you're going to go stir crazy if you're in the same place for. I mean, do you remember how stir crazy we went at the Super Bowl in Dallas, and we didn't leave the hotel for a day and a half?
Yeah, I know, because of all the ice and stuff.
Yeah.
Ty Robinson on my Twitter feed. Ty Robinson, who's a coach at Woodville. I remember when the Big 12 used to be the best conference in the nation. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Thank you, Longhorn Network. Washington Redskins owner Daniel Snyder issued a statement today on the sexual harassment claims. The Washington Post, by the way, will have Liz Clark, I think, on the show Monday. She wasn't available today, and I can understand why. He condemned the behavior, said he wants to set a new culture and standard for the team. I thought Ron Rivera had a really nice statement last night. Obviously, Snyder ran this thing. He had to know something. Mark Cuban knew something and did nothing, and then apologized, and he brought in someone who handled that type of
he addressed
the
directly.
culture around the office. Yeah, but he knew and did nothing.
But when he knew and did nothing and then got caught doing nothing.
What's worse, knowing and doing nothing, or not knowing but you should?
It's that's such a thin line, because what you're saying is, oh well, I'm. And it's one thing to say, like, look, I let my people work for me, but sometimes you insulate yourself too far. And part of the reason the Redskins are a mess is that Daniel Snyder is a terrible leader. He's a terrible leader in every regard. So this doesn't do anything to make him look better. And he says, yeah, the culture has to change. Well, how did you let this happen in the first place? And Mark Cuban, he did the smart thing. He came out and addressed it. He said he was wrong. He said that what he'd done is wrong. And he went all the way through that. And so, granted, it does not wipe away what happened to the women that were harassed with the Mavericks, but at least he admitted he'd done something. He had a role in it, as where Dan Snyder, kind of did I didn't really know.
Well, we'll see. By the way, Martin McCauley, who's the one that has all those trademarks, we've talked about that with our Dan Lust, our attorney, sports law attorney. He hired Darren Heitner, who we've had on as well. Mm-hmm. He said to the Redskins, you can have all of Martin's trademarks for no cost. All I ask, though, is you make charitable contributions in my name to charities such as the American Indian Graduate Center and unrecognized tribal communities in the Chesapeake area. That's not bad. Now, is that $1 million or 500,000, 100,000, 10,000? I don't know. But that appears to be the Redskins did contact Darren Heitner about the trademarks and the names. All right, there's a picture on Baylor Football's Twitter account, and this is a picture that I even put, intense commitment. And I don't know who this is, but he's a dude. I mean, he's an alpha dog. He's got the mask, the BU logo mask on his face, okay? And then Paul on top of that, like almost, what would you call that? It's like almost like its own little hoodie.
Yeah. He's got
a wrap.
Yeah, and a lot of times players wear that around their head anyway
when they're having a helmet
on. Yeah,
but it's got all the way from his jaw up to the top of his head. Mm-hmm. He has all 5 fingers taped above the knuckle and below the knuckle.
He looks like a ninja.
Yes, and I mean it is a fierce, intense. I'm not saying that is more than anybody else around the country, but if you haven't seen it, it is a very. I retweeted it last night. It's an incredibly, to me, energetic, intense, commitment, whatever you want, picture of what these guys are training in right now when it comes to going through workouts if you're a college football player or athletes in general. When we come back, Lanier Sampson, he was one of the favorite targets. RG3 had many. He's now on the staff at the University of Central Florida, UCF. Lanier Sampson joins us next on Sikkim 365 Radio. Waco Custom Marketplace, and yes, once again, they have their weekend specials. I'll tell you about those in just a second. But if you want, and Brian Etheridge, yet again, Brian puts out a picture yesterday. He's cooking some big, thick fillets. I mean, absolutely delicious. In fact, fillet time. These are big, thick, I'm talking gorgeous-looking marbled fillets. He cooked them and ate them all, maybe by himself. I don't know. But if you want customized butcher shop beef, they have poultry, they have pork, and they have seafood as well. But if you want the best cut of steak and you want to customize the order, bone-in ribeyes, big, thick fillets, they'll put bacon around them if you want, anything in between when it comes to your cut of steak, sirloin, T-bone, porterhouse. they'll do it for you, and they can do it, and you go pick it up. They also, remember, if you order by noon on Thursday, so next week, if let's say next weekend you want to have a crawfish boil, you order by noon on Thursday, pick it up by Friday or Saturday, and have your crawfish boil. It's Waco Custom Marketplace. It's like an old-fashioned grocery store. They also, in fact, right now, the men's summer survival pack. How about this? 2 pieces of 12-ounce ribeye steak, 2 pieces of Idaho potato, and 2 25-ounce beer of your choice. Budweiser, Bud Light, Michelob, Shiner, Shiner Bock, Modelo, Dos Equis, Miller Lite, and Coors Light. I'm looking at this steak, and the steak's got the perfect marble for your ribeye. So the $25 for a men's summer survival pack, so you get 2 25-ounce beers, 2 pieces of 12-ounce ribeye steak, and 2 pieces of Idaho potatoes. You can bake them, cut them up, smoke them, whatever you want to do. Grill, cut them. That's it. It's up to you. It's survival packs at Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
So it's time for us to have a talk because obviously your buddies aren't telling you and neither is your woman. You've been driving that truck around exposing your stuff. It's not only embarrassing, it's disgusting. I'm talking about full frontal truck nudity, and it's time for you to do something about it with a grill guard or a front-end replacement bumper from Pickup Outfitters. There are lots of good reasons to get a grill guard, like when Bambi decides to cross the road at the same time you're occupying it. But the best reason is that no one wants to see your junk up in your grill. Pickup Outfitters on Lake Erie Drive carries all the major brands of grill guards, including Ranch Hand, Cattleman, and even the Renegade brand made right here in Waco. And every grill guard we sell comes with our lifetime installation guarantee and no-worry warranty program. Won't you help us end truck nudity? Pickup Outfitters, 220 Lake Erie Drive in Waco. Check out our grill guards on our website at createacommotion.com/guards. createacommotion.com/guards.
Summertime means vacation time, and while this summer may be different, at Allen Samuels, you can always count on our huge summer clearance event. It's on. Brand spanking new 2020 Ram Lone Star Crew Cabs. Now 0% financing for 72 and no payments for 90 days. Or choose up to $10,250 in total values. America's most loyal half-ton pickup owners are Ram owners. It's time to say goodbye. Adios, 2020s, from Allen Samuels. Ask for details.
Texas board-certified personal injury trial lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recalled drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at texastriallawyer.com, principal office in Houston, Texas.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. This segment on Baylor Athletics on Sikkim 365 Radio is brought to you by Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, located at the Imperial Drive exit off Loop 340 in Waco. Proud supporters of all Baylor Athletics.
If you think about the wide receivers, and there was a point there where Baylor receivers started to call it wide receiver U, Kendall Wright, Terrence Williams, Corey Coleman, Katie Cannon a little bit later on, Jay Lee, Levi Norwood, Lanier Sampson, right? And that's just some of the weapons that RG3 and others had, Nick Florence had to throw to when they were putting up the big numbers in the Art Briles offensive system. Lanier Sampson is now the assistant coach. He's an assistant coach at UCF. He has been at Syracuse, McNeese State, and now at UCF. As you know, UCF has got themselves a pretty good football team with what they've done in recent years as well. And Lanier Sampson now joins us on Sikkim 365 Radio. Lanier, you know, we had this debate. We got to start with this because we got to get this out. You're the last one we have not spoken with.
Yeah.
On this 4x, I think 100. We initially said 4x40, but 4x100. Tevin Reese, Lake Seastrunk, RG3, and Lanier Sampson's name has snuck into it with a vengeance. Do you deserve to be on the 4x100 if you took all of the last 10 years of Baylor football?
I mean, I'm pleased to be named as one of the guys, and you know me as an individual, I am very not very, you know, I'm very modest and don't really brag about myself or anything like that. So I think that I'm glad that I've been put in the conversation, and you know, I am a confident guy at the end of the day. So I think I deserve to be on that list, but you know, that's not for me to say. It's for, you know, whoever's relay it is, whoever decides they want me on the relay, and that's kind of the deal. So that's kind of how I approach it.
Well, I saw that you responded. So you were good with, you liked running the third leg with Tevin Reese running the first one, and then Robert and Lake battling it out for who is the anchor leg.
Yes. I mean, you know, Robert, obviously he's an Olympic track guy, so, you know, he can run whatever leg he wants at the end of the day. Lake Seastrunk, we know he can run. He's a speed guy and also a track guy as well, so they can battle out for the second and fourth leg. Tevin Reese, and me and Tevin Reese, we thought a lot on that deal. With him running first leg, his burst, his start, and just how fast and quick he is, he'd definitely be a better first leg than I would. And
well,
I'm better on the run.
Well, the thing is that says quite a bit because there was a lot of guys. I mean, Clay Fuller said, "Hey, don't forget about me." He didn't say that because Clay's kind of like you. He's not going to sit there and go, "Hey, forget about me."
Right.
McKenzie wanted to make sure we didn't forget about Clay, among some others as well. And Lake wants to have a conversation with Robert, because he's not so sure he shouldn't be the anchor. And, of course, Robert didn't want to have anything to do with that.
By the way, that's our new poll question on Sikkim 365 is who should run the anchor leg, RG3 or Lake. So
Yeah. Well, you started, and this is when there were some dudes now, Lanier. There were some amazing players. And Kendall Wright's name obviously was a part of this conversation. You started 4 consecutive years at a school that was pumping out stars at wide receiver. In the end, what did that mean to you, the longevity, the consistency, and what you established?
I mean, it means a lot to me. I take pride in that, and being a 4-year starter at Baylor, especially with all the receivers we had and all the NFL receivers we had come out of Baylor. But I take pride in it, and that's kind of how I approach every season, every game, every day. As a former player at Baylor University, so you know, I take pride in that deal. I came in with a goal and a mission, and I felt like I did the best to achieve that goal.
Do you have a favorite moment that sticks out in your head? I played the highlight earlier of your touchdown, the long one against TCU. That was just fantastic. I mean, I think I watched the highlight 7-8 times today. It was that good.
I mean, that was a great moment, and as any Baylor fan or Baylor player knows, I'm a very unselfish person at the end of the day, and I think the biggest moment was the game against Oklahoma when we beat Oklahoma at home, number 5 team in the country at the time, and I think that was a big turnaround in our in that Baylor run. And so you know, I'm more of a team guy than an individual guy. Yes, the TCU long touchdown after halftime was phenomenal. The West Virginia right before halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Right after halftime was the TCU. Right before halftime was the West Virginia that Nick Florence found me. And so I mean, it had some nice moments as a player. But I think the team kind of is what I look forward to the most. And so Oklahoma was the biggest game. I felt like, you know, the biggest moment for me and for our team at the time.
To a man, of the receivers we've had on, and we've had a chunk of them, there's a couple that we still haven't had on from that run of what you had. It was good to hear Terrence Williams, and we mentioned Clay Fuller and Corey Coleman, among others. But we asked him this question. The way that offense ran, you knew, and there was no huddles. We also know about whether there was any kind of so-called playbook, whatever. But all of them said that when you lined up, you knew who the guinea pig was going to be on defense. Not every single play, but you kind of knew based on the way that offense ran. Did you? Could you always tell, this is my turn?
Majority of the time you could. It obviously you go through a week and you game plan and you kind of figure out who is the guinea pig for the week is. And, we kind of go towards that guy. That's kind of how our offense ran. We find out who the weak link is, and we go for the matchup. And the matchup is you always want to find a matchup. Like Coach always tells us, you may have one good corner. You may have one good corner. You may or may not have two good corners. You don't have 3 or 4 good corners and safeties in that secondary. So somebody's got to be the guinea pig. Somebody's going to be the guinea pig. Sometimes we know beforehand, and sometimes we figure it out during the game.
You are at UCF right now under Coach Josh Heupel, and been able to maintain, what Scott Frost did before then, and that's a really growing program there, Lanier, in a hotbed of talent. How did you come about at UCF, and how are you enjoying being there right now?
It's a great place. I mean, obviously, like you said, the tradition here lately has been phenomenal. And that's a plus, being in this situation that I'm in, this unique situation I'm in now. And it's all in the network. And as a coach, and as an individual, as a adult in this world, networking is big. And so being in the loop with some of the guys that I know prior to being here, Cliff Odom was here, last year as well, last 2 years. Matter of fact, he just took a job at Eastern Illinois as the corners coach. But just networking, just knowing people, getting your brand out there, getting your name out there, and being good at what you do. Because at the end of the day, if you're not good at what you do, then it's going to be really hard to get jobs.
Well, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I noticed you got did you get your master's degree at Syracuse? Were you on staff with Dino Babers?
I did. So after I got done in Canada, my stint in Canada, I ended up going to being a graduate assistant at Syracuse. Myself and Coach Babers has had a tight-knit relationship. I played for him before he left my senior year to go to East Illinois, but we just stayed in contact, and he had a spot and an opportunity for me to start my coaching career at Syracuse. And so and I took that and kind of ran with it and ended up getting my master's from there. That was a big deal for me.
Lanier Sampson, former Baylor wide receiver, now an assistant coach at UCF, with us on Sikkim 365 Radio.
So you've obviously, you played here in Texas, so you know that the high school talent that's here, and you're now in Florida where there's a ton of high school talent. What's that like to kind of see how they do it? Obviously differently. Texas probably has, they have more resources dedicated to high school football than anybody, but the talent in Florida is pretty unmatched, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, talent in Florida is phenomenal. It's funny because at Syracuse, I had 2 guys that were brothers and they were from Florida. So we always talk about Texas, Florida. But actually being in Florida, I've never lived in Florida before. And so actually being in Florida, getting to see the talent in person and kind of, matching it up with Texas talent, it's close. I mean, it's close. Texas has a lot of talent. I'm a little biased because I'm from Texas, but being in Florida, I mean, they have a lot of talent out here. And like you said, Texas may have a little bit more resources, but Florida has some guys out here that, that has been to the next level and has made a difference, at the college level and the NFL level. And so they have a lot of guys out here. And just like I said, the resource is probably the biggest difference, but it's talent here for sure.
You played in Ottawa in the Canadian Football League, and you were able to do some things there. And then you had opportunities, at least the Colts, with the Steelers and the Cowboys, either in the offseason or on practice squads. What was that like, not knowing from year to year where you might be, but knowing you still were on the radar of NFL and personnel scouts?
It's a tough deal. And for anybody that goes through it, it's a great experience. And a lot of people don't get to experience that. And so I'm blessed to be able to experience that. But at the end of the day, you find out quick that it's business, and it's a business. And it was tough early on just because it can be a roller coaster because you just never know. Every day you come in the locker room, you see people get cut, and it's just a very uneasy feeling because you're like, will I be next? Am I next? You may have a bad practice, and you're thinking like you're gonna be the next guy to get cut. So it's an emotional roller coaster. But as you kind of settle in a little bit, and you talk to some people, and I've been around some good players, but you kind of settle in a little bit, you just realize that you only control what you can control, and you go out there and you put best out on the line every day, and put your heart out there and let the chips fall where they may. And once you have that mentality, and you kind of can go from there. That's what I end up doing. And yeah, it's like I said, it's a roller coaster, but you got to believe in your preparation. You got to believe in your talent. And for me, I believe in God. I know God has a plan for me, and I just go out there and give him my all, and whatever happens, happens.
Is it similar to what you're hoping doesn't turn out the same as a coach, but you're trying to find your niche with McNeese State, Syracuse, and now UCF, and just kind of get your foot in the door and then stick?
Yeah, it's the same type of situation. And me being in the NFL and being on them three teams, I kind of take what I learned during that time and just kind of apply it to what I'm going through now. And it's been great. It's been working for me. I learned, from different people, different coaches, and I take a little bit from each coach and each place I've been, and it kind of applies to my everyday teaching, my everyday coaching, and my everyday personality. And from then, I just it's kind of one of them deals. Like we're in a place right now where we don't know if we're going to play or not, and how many games or when we're going to start, and this, that, and the other. But I put my faith in God and let him, and control it.
Josh Heupel's the head coach. Of course, Scott Frost had that unbeaten team from nothing to the unbeaten team that got so much attention and beat Auburn. Is there a chip on the shoulder of UCF? Is there still kind of a chip on their shoulder, or because of the last 2 or 3 years, they now realize, hey, we belong in this deal?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a chip. I walk into the situation, and these guys are a very confident bunch, no matter who they play, and no matter who we play, I should say. And it's a very confident bunch. Yes, Group of 5, AAC, and you can put all that in there. But when you put the numbers against anybody in the country, we're second to none. And so we're very confident. Chip still on his shoulder. And like I said, they've been having a great last 3-4 years, and hoping to continue that streak.
Well, as a Florida native, a Florida State grad, so Josh Heupel, your head coach, broke my heart in 2000. So I don't know if I'll ever get over that. But I do hate USF with a white hot fiery passion. So I'm rooting for you guys all the way in the big rivalry game. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Lanier Sampson, North Mesquite, he was a stallion. Isn't that what they were called, the North Mesquite Stallions? And of course Baylor, and now at UCF. We appreciate your time. Great to hear from you. And that 4x100, let's settle it now, okay? So Tevin starts.
No, he's yes,
Tevin to Lanier, and then Lake and Robert can have bloodshed. Whatever they do, who's going to be third and who's the anchor? Is that correct?
No. So we're gonna do it this way. Whatever they decide as far as second and fourth leg between Robert and Lake, they're going to go second and fourth. Myself and T. Reese is going to handle the curve.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, there you go. Lanier, be careful. Stay safe. Thanks for your time, and great to hear from you.
Yes, sir. No problem. Thanks for having me on.
Lanier Sampson always had a smile on his face. 4-year starter during a time when Robert Griffin III first started, and then, of course, had the 7-6 bowl team. And then they broke through in 2011, beat Oklahoma, as he mentioned. And then a part of that team that at the end of the year was so good under Nick Florence, and that team that could pound, and you did, and UCLA. And that was Lake's breakout year as well. Coming up next, Grayson Grundhafer on recruiting football. There's a big camp coming up this weekend. I think he's going to be at that camp. And what's happened this week? Sikkim 365 Radio. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness. So today, this morning, while I'm there, I look out the back window, and there are tennis lessons going on with either adults and or the youth, and they're all morning long. And then also, like on Friday nights, there's always some sort of a tournament where the adults get together, and they've had like a sangria event. They've had Taco Friday, things like that, as burgers and hot dogs. And they just kind of relax and enjoy, but play tennis. There's pickleball courts, which is always, they're busy as well. And then there are group exercise classes, as many as 40 plus of them every single week, starting right after 5 o'clock when the gym opens up. On the weekends, it opens up on 7 on Saturday and also 7 as well on Sunday. 6 o'clock, on Saturday, 7 o'clock on Sunday. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness, personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. And yoga, bar class, Pilates, you name it, they got it. Spin classes, and much more. And then you yourself, and many do, can just walk through the front door and you work out on your own with whatever it might be, whether it's cardio, weights, and or both. They also have whirlpools in both the men's and women's locker rooms, sauna, both the men's and women's locker rooms, and the locker rooms with what you need to store your stuff away and then come get it, take a shower, go home, or go to work, whatever you do afterwards. It's a phenomenal facility. It's clean as it can be, disinfected, wiped down, all of what you need to do right now. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco. Time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. And order 30-pound bags of live crawfish by noon on Thursday and pick up on Friday to enjoy the weekend. Live crawfish available right now. And Waco Custom Marketplace doors are open for business Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5. And crawfish boil boxes available as well. Make your order for live crawfish by noon on Thursday. Pick up on Friday for the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh kolaches, cinnamon rolls, and baked bread daily. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, and house-cured and smoked bacon. Spices, seasonings, soup mixes, charcoal, and lighter fluid. Waco Custom Marketplace, doors open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5, 425 Lake Air Drive or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, French oak, rye, and brimstone. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. you feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Welcome back to Sikkim 365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with Grayson Grundhafer of Sikkim365.com. Brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, where customer service is their main focus, and best in metal, steel, and pipe for large or small projects, with 2 locations in Waco and Bryan. Family owned and operated since 1943.
All right, here we go. This 3 o'clock hour. 4 o'clock, we'll hear from Jeremy Sohan. He's the one that yesterday committed to Baylor men's basketball. Sikkim365.com was all over that. We also had, remember, a little bit of Ashley Hodge trying to break him down and what his game's like. But we're going to hear from him from Germany in just one moment. We're now joined by Grayson Grundhafer, Sikkim365.com. Grayson, I know you focus quite a bit. There's a big camp coming up this weekend, but what a week it was for Scott Drew with Langston Love and then also with Jeremy Sohan with the men's basketball program.
Yeah, definitely. Very exciting time for the men's basketball program, and they're kind of just riding off the momentum they got from this season. And I know everyone's been talking about how great Scott Drew has done with transfers, and obviously that has been true. I think we're going to see another one this year with Adam Flagler having a lot of success, but eventually you still have to recruit those high-level talent players. And to get 2 top 50 prospects and 2 guys that I actually feel like are both probably more so in the top 30 is absolutely massive for Scott Drew and company. And they're 2 guys that play, positions that I think Baylor could use some upgrade at. They don't really have that long wing guy anymore after Mark Vidal. You look down, Jordan Turner might be a guy that could do that. But then they also don't have huge size at the guard position, which Langston Love at 6'5" brings to the table as well. So, a big week for sure for Scott Drew and company.
How much of this do you expect to maybe keep going now that they had that run? They've kind of proven to people what they can be when they have the horses.
Yeah, definitely. I think, just based on what I've been kind of looking at with this class and what we've seen on Sikkim 365 and just kind of my thoughts on it, I still think they have room to maybe take a couple more. And so I think you could see some more momentum. I know Langston Love and Jeremy both are probably going to be looking on the recruiting trail to try to bring another guy in. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me at this point because right now they have a top 8 class. Why not shoot for the stars and try to get a top 5 class?
So you've got a camp, is that right? Brian Etheridge was telling me earlier today. Are you guys scheduled to go cover a camp this weekend?
Yeah, I'm making the drive up to Oklahoma. Brian's going to be doing this as well. It's in Durant, Oklahoma, and it's 2022s and 2023. So a bunch of, rising sophomores and rising juniors. The ESPN Junior 300 was released yesterday. So we're going to get to go up there and see a lot of the guys that were on that list. So it'll be a lot of fun and finally get to see some camp action. So I'm going to knock on wood, though, because you know how these things can be at the last minute. Hoping it doesn't get canceled.
Yeah, good luck with that.
All right, I know this is not Baylor recruiting, but it is state of Texas. The Brockermeyer twins going to Alabama. How much does that sting for Tom Herman?
Oh, that is massive. And now, the thing of it is that now Texas is going to have to scramble to try to figure out what they're going to do on the offensive line. And I think all the programs in the state of Texas better watch out because UT is definitely going to be looking at a lot of the guys that are probably committed currently. So that's going to be really interesting. But this one has to sting. To miss out on guys that really I think everyone thought were going to Texas for the longest time. And then it just so happened over the last maybe 6-7 months, things just kind of flipped. And it looks like Alabama just did a really good job of selling those two kind of on the pro potential and things like that, which, you can't really deny at a place like Bama.
Yeah, that was interesting. They have a son, Brockermeyer, on campus, and now these were the number 1 rated offensive linemen at their positions, correct? Tackle and center, both, both of them were 5-star. I guess they were. Of course they were, right?
They both were ranked really high. I'm not sure if James is a 5-star. just watching his film, he's not at the same level, in my opinion, as Tommy, but Tommy's the number one player on Sikkim 365's rankings for the 2021 class, number one overall player in the state of Texas. So he's way up there. I mean, he's a top 10 prospect in the entire nation. So, they're getting a great one with him, and then James is kind of just the cherry on top there with the center position, and he's solid as well.
All right, so you and Craig posted the Trust the Podcast, which you record, and then it goes up, the two of you, on Sikkim365.com. What were the number one or number two most asked, what you needed to let people know about this week off the top of your head?
Yeah, so the main things that we talked about, obviously the two men's basketball commitments. We were going to talk about Langston Love anyways, and then in the middle of our show, Jeremy actually gave his commitment as well, so we kind of did that almost live on there. And then the other big one was Kyron Drones, the Baylor commit at quarterback. He got his 4-star finally from 247, so he moved all the way up into the top 15 quarterbacks in the entire nation. So that's a big one for Baylor's recruiting class, and obviously it helps with the class rankings as well to have a guy that is so highly ranked, and he's now the only composite 4-star player in Baylor's current 2021 recruiting class so far.
Thank you, Grayson. Congratulations again on all of what you do.
Yeah. How's married life going? 2 weeks in now?
It's great, man. I got to tell you, it's been a lot of fun, and it's kind of, I don't think it's ever what you expected it to be, and I got to say it's been better than I expected. So it's been a lot of fun. We're having a great time, and work has been good too. So I can't complain.
Grayson Grundafer, Sikkim 365 with us on Sikkim 365 Radio. Coming up next, Jeremy Sohan, Baylor men's basketball commit from Germany. Next on Sikkim 365 Radio.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
If you or a loved one or friend has been arrested and you can't afford bail, trust Terry and Chase Chapman at Chapman's Bail Bonds, covering Waco and McLennan County for over 25 years. Chapman's can bail you out anywhere with experienced, knowledgeable local agents who are committed to serving you professionally, respectfully, and with the highest integrity. Chapman's understands your privacy is important. Your freedom can be secured fast when you use Chapman's Bail Bonds. Open 24 hours a day, payment arrangements available. Call Chapman's Bail Bonds. When you need help, 254-754-1603. When you ring, we'll spring.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction with a team of 24 experienced agents who are excited about serving you. Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more. In great times or tough times, you always feel better working with someone who's there for you. When it comes to great banking, people here count on the First National Bank of Central Texas, here to help you, your family, and your business. Personal banking via phone, desktop, tablet, and drive-through, and business banking tailored for all situations, including yours. Amazing tomorrows from the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
17, shot clock winding down, go to work on Raymond. Teague inside, left, and it goes. Gorgeous move, Maceo Teague. Strong to the rim.
This segment on Baylor Athletics on Sikkim 365 Radio is brought to you by Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, located at the Imperial Drive exit off Loop 340 in Waco. Proud supporters of all Baylor Athletics.
The latest to commit to Scott Drew and Baylor men's basketball. Jeremy Sohan joins us from Germany on Sikkim 365 Radio, and a big day yesterday. Baylor's had a great week with Langston Love and then Jeremy Sohan. And Jeremy, your commitment to Baylor, I've seen some of the things, the quotes that you've said, but what was yesterday like, and what did it mean to get that commitment, and what did it mean to commit to Baylor?
No, it meant a lot. It meant a lot. It feels good to commit to a college and just rest a little bit, and then just keep getting my getting a relationship with Baylor, and I'm really excited for this journey that I'm going on right now. So I'm really excited.
What was it that sealed the deal with you for Baylor? The kind of made the decision for you?
Right. So I've been talking to Baylor for a very long time now, and the relationship I have with them and my family has is really good. It's not just basketball. It's really like family orientated, and it's not. We don't only talk about basketball. I think we're really close, and that's what it's about. And yeah, that's it. And I feel like it's the right environment for me.
John Jacobs, a part of Baylor's staff, is the one that saw you at a under-16 tournament when you were playing for Poland. And then I come to find out Coach Jacobs has got a little Polish blood in him. How much do you think that helped a little bit?
Maybe a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit of chemistry there.
I heard that. I thought that was great that he was the one. I didn't know that. We had him on, in fact, earlier this week. So your mom and dad both played.
Oh, okay.
They both played in college basketball as well. So they've been in America. You've played in America. What's it been like? You've been everywhere during all this COVID. Indiana's where you played at Lalamere Prep School, and then you have been everywhere, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been in quite a lot of places, and I appreciate staying healthy and my family being healthy. And these are weird times, but I'm trying to make the best out of it. So, yeah.
So you played basketball all over, which is really good for you in that you've been able to experience America and international play. How much better of a player has that made you to play in all these different, leagues and things, just even before you've gotten to college?
Right. I feel like playing in all these leagues and meeting different players, different ages, I think it's made my game a lot more mature, physically and mentally, for sure. I think I've learned so much from European styles and American styles. I think it's benefited me a lot.
The international game has exploded really in the last 25 or 30 years. And so you've played against fantastic competition. I mentioned you played up at Lalamere, one of the elite prep schools as well. You've seen it all.
Right.
Not only have you experienced it all recently as well, but you've kind of seen it all. How much does that blend of playing international ball and in the United States, how much has that improved your game?
I think it's improved my game a lot. Even like watching some players in Europe and in college and NBA, wherever, I think it's improved a lot, and I've learned a lot. And I've added little things from different players and different coaches to my bag, and I'm just trying to create myself my bag. And yeah, I think it's improved me a lot.
The style of play internationally obviously is different. And did you,
for sure.
Did you have to, how long did it take you to adjust to that when you initially went overseas?
I mean, it is a little bit difficult, but I think me as a player, I think I'm really good at adapting to new things, and I think it was pretty easy for me. Maybe it took a while, but I think at the end I was playing my best basketball, and I think I'm good at adapting to new places for sure.
I saw your stats, Jeremy. 16 points, almost 10 rebounds, three assists, 3 steals, 1.5 blocks per game. You're shooting the three better. You've worked on that as well. What is it about your game right now that you are still working on? And obviously you can always improve. Every day you can improve. The greatest one to improve every day.
Sure.
But how much better are you now than maybe you were even at this time a year ago?
Right. No, I agree. I have to work on everything. But like recently I've been working on my footwork, being quicker with my ball handling, and of course my shot. And I think I've improved a lot. And once the season gets going and once I'm ready to go to Baylor, I think I'm going to turn a few heads, because I think I've improved a lot for sure.
Jeremy Sochan is our guest. He's in Germany, and so we recorded this earlier in the day. Yesterday's the day he committed to Baylor. We had Langston Love on, who was on with us a couple of days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, committed to Baylor, and he said that Coach Drew went, yes, and, danced around the room, and Coach Tang went nuts. And what was the reaction when you called and committed to Baylor?
Yeah, it was a good reaction. They were really happy. Like you said, Coach Drew was really happy, and he was screaming and really happy. It was great to see. It put a smile on my face.
What is something that's another passion or another hobby? I know you play basketball. You probably eat, drink, sleep basketball. What's another hobby or two that of people who don't know you that may learn a little bit more about what you do if it's not shooting hoops or playing basketball?
I mean, of course, I like video games, but I also like listening to music. I love music, and I love playing around with shoes and outfits. I love like fashion as well. So
let's get a little.
I think they'll see that.
Get a little Russell Westbrook to him then, right there with the fashion part to it. All right. So what's your favorite? What's the video game that if you were to challenge somebody at, that I've probably got you on lock?
2K, 100%. No one's beat me at that.
Okay, yeah, NBA 2K, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected you to say.
Yeah, I'm. You got to remember, I'm 61 years old though. My video games go back to where they first started. So
he's talking about Pong,
like Pong or whatever, like Pac-Man and stuff. So academically, academically, you're doing very well. I saw a note, I think, on ESPN.com that you excel in math. Is that your favorite class or course, or what are some things that, whenever your basketball career ends, hopefully a long time from now, what do you want to do?
Right. I mean, I'm really interested into like sociology and like macroeconomics, so maybe I'll do something around that. But I also like maths and stuff like that, so we'll see. But yeah, I do like education as well.
Jeremy Sochan is our guest, committed to Baylor on Thursday. His mom and dad played basketball in Oklahoma. His mother is Polish. Is that right, Jeremy? And your father as well, and a stepfather as well. And so I've mentioned the mixture of the game you've played internationally in the United States, but you travel the country. There's a lot of people that don't get a chance to travel much at all. Baylor has a lot of mission trips, and they've played overseas quite a bit as well. Right. Have you enjoyed being able to be in so many different places, London, even Indiana, which is as American as you could be, and now in Germany?
Yeah. No, I do appreciate the chance to visit so many places, and it's really great, and you learn so much. You learn about different cultures, different experiences from all these different places. So I think it's impacted my life pretty well, and no, it's great. It's great.
6'8", 225 or so, as I think what I saw. What would you say? Is that about right where your height and weight right now?
Yeah, that's about right.
What's the wingspan? We got to know the wingspan.
We got what?
The wingspan 7 foot. 7
Okay.
foot.
We have a partner who owns the site, a co-partner who owns the site that wanted to know about the wingspan. Langston's was what, Paul? 6'9", and he's like a 6'4", 6'5" guy. So
okay.
he loves, because that also helps when you're talking about that pressure defense and what they do at Baylor as well.
Sure.
So you mentioned, and I know you got to go, and we appreciate your time. Jeremy Sohan is our guest. He's in Germany. He's going to play for Orange Academy this year. You mentioned the family atmosphere, how it's affected you, how it's helped your mom, your father, and what Baylor brings to the table. Did it blow you away how they have stayed in touch? Of course they want you. You're talented. Of course they're going to obviously continue to stay in touch with you. But did it kind of blow you away what kind of family atmosphere they seem to have at Baylor as well?
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I really do like him. Like watching some games and interviews of players, you can really see it, and especially the interviews when they won a game and then the players are acknowledging each other, the coaches, and God, I do really respect that. And I think that's unbelievable.
Have you had any players, for example, Langston Love or anyone else? Has anyone contacted you and said, "Hey, this is awesome"?
Yeah. He has, and then also Mitchell's contacted me.
Davion Mitchell.
Yeah, okay. All right, Jeremy.
Yeah,
hey,
nice.
Enjoy yourself. Stay safe. It seems like you have been.
Thank you very much.
I know Baylor Nation's excited. They've had 2 big-time names commit to Scott Drew and Baylor this week, and you were the one that kind of put the hammer in what was already a very fantastic week. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Get some sleep, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Jeremy Sohan with us on Sikkim 365 Radio. So he played for the Polish national team under 16. He played at an academy in Indiana, which is one of the better academies in the country. Now he's in Germany. He was in England. His parents are from Oklahoma. Both of them played college basketball. Heck of a story. Jason King had an interview with him yesterday, went in depth about his commitment. Obviously, Grayson did a story along with Colt as well. I think it was Colt that had yesterday's story. And then we were able to break it down with Craig and Paul and me yesterday, and it was good to get Jeremy Sohan on the show from Germany.
By the way, when we come back, we have got to talk about Bryson DeChambeau.
So the Memorial Tournament, it's a tournament where the leaders are 9 under par, and one of them is Finau, and the other one, I think, is Ryan Palmer. There's a lot of guys that are barely going to make the cut, and some of them are not. The cut line, I think, is now +3. Tiger's right on the cut line. He didn't play well at all today. He played terrible. Mickelson, I think, is right in front of it. Jordan Spieth's playing well, 4 under. Dustin Johnson's like way over par, among others, like Ricky Fowler. But Bryson DeChambeau was 1 over, and he was on 15 or 16.
I think he's on 6. I think this
it's
is
a par
16,
5,
maybe 15,
which he should destroy, but he hit a bad drive, and we're going to come back and let you know and find out where he is now because he is about to blow, not a gasket, the engine. He's running hot, and we'll tell you why. And by the way, hey, Brad Boozer and family up in South Dakota on a nice trip to go up to Mount Rushmore in that gorgeous part of the country. He's listening to us on the app, brought to you by Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Brad Boozer and Boozer's Jewelers, one of the great sponsors of Sikkim 365 Radio. This is Sikkim 365 Radio, and former Baylor wide receiver and Salina assistant coach Travis McClain around the corner, back in a moment. PettyClinicLOT.com, Dr. Kent Petty. Had somebody text me earlier this week and said, hey, how can I get in touch with Kent Petty? Dr. Petty. I said, well, first of all, PettyClinicLOT.com. You can also go to Google Maps, and you call the number there. Here's what they can do. If, in fact, and this is for men, if you're sluggish, and it doesn't have to be if you're in your 40s or 50s or 60s or whatever. Sometimes you just don't feel right. A lot of it could be your diet. A lot of it could be lack of exercise, or maybe even you're not sleeping well. So that's possible. But sometimes it could be your testosterone level. I had somebody earlier last weekend tell me that he went to Dr. Petty. He had really low testosterone. All of a sudden, his testosterone just shot up, and he felt really good. And I had somebody contact me this week and said, how can I get a hold of him? So I told him, pettycliniclowt.com, located on Old Hewitt Road, just off of 84 in Woodway. What he can do is send you to get your blood work. Check your testosterone level. And if the testosterone level is too low, he can then put you in a program to raise it so you can be the high-performance man you want to be, whether it's sex drive or just flat energy, focus, and feeling better. He can send you to get discounted lab work, look at the results, and they'll also check PSA and much more that you want to know about as well. And then if your testosterone levels are low, he will put you in a program to raise the testosterone levels to be where they need to be so you can be the high-performance man you want to be. How do you contact him? It's pretty simple. pettycliniclowt.com.
Summertime means vacation time, and when you hit the road, do it in the vehicle of summer, Jeep. At Allen Samuels, it's our huge summer clearance event. It's on. Get employee pricing on brand new 2020 Jeep Gladiator Sport Editions, plus an additional $1,500 in retail bonus cash. And ask about 0% and no payments for 90 days on other Jeep models. It's time to say goodbye. Adios, 2020s from Allen Samuels.
Ask for details. All offers with approved credit.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Do you love Friday Night Lights? Would you like to have a bigger role than just watching the action to ensure the games are played fairly and safely? The Waco football chapter of the Texas Association of Sports Officials, or TASO, can make that happen. The 2020 Texas high school football season is right around the corner, and we need you to be a part of it. There's a shortage of officials across the state in all sports, and you can help. If you love the game and want to be a part of the solution, you can help our local student athletes continue to participate in games they love. Never officiated before? Don't worry. Waco Football Chapter can help and prepare you to make the right call. And right now, Introduction to Football Officiating class is accepting registrations. Make your first grade call today by looking us up and contacting us on Facebook at Waco Football Chapter or at our website, wacofootballchapter.com. Find out more about the Waco Football Chapter of the Texas Association of Sports Officials, or TASO. Go to wacofootballchapter.com.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. This segment on Baylor Athletics on Sikkim 365 Radio is brought to you by Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, located at the Imperial Drive exit off Loop 340 in Waco. Proud supporters of all Baylor Athletics.
The Memorial Golf Tournament, which is one of the elite non-major tournaments. It's the Jack Nicklaus, Dublin, Ohio. Ryan Palmer, Tony Finau, 9 under. John Rahm's 8 under. And Gary Woodland, who won a major last year, at 6 under par. Jordan Spieth, 4 under through 17. He just had a nice drive on 18. Jimmy Walker, Baylor's very own, 2-time All-American, 2 under par, and tied for 19th. The cut line earlier was at 2 over par. Colin Morikawa, who won last week, really was struggling, but he's gotten himself under the cut line at 1 over par. So Bryson DeChambeau is playing 15. It's a par 5. He's been dominating. He's bogeyed 3 times in the back nine. So here are his shots, and Paul and I just witnessed this is just like a bludgeoning. His first shot, a tee shot, went left of the fairway, down a hill, into a creek. So he takes a shot, stroke penalty, and drops 289 yards away from the hole. Paul, where did he hit his 3-wood? In the high rough. It was very dangerous.
Yeah.
You could either top it, hit it perfectly, or you could pop it up right.
I'm not sure what he was trying to do. Yeah, he hit it past. I mean, the first one was well past over this gate.
Yeah, it was out of bounds.
Yeah, out of bounds. And so there's no way he was going to get that back.
So now
I don't know why he did it again.
Well, and now after that, it's like, F it.
Well, yeah, but okay, look, if your 3-wood is that hard, like, just play it shorter.
Yeah, no, he that lie and the rough, you have no idea how it's coming out of there. And when he hit it, you knew. So then he drops, so he's now hitting 5 from the same place where he dropped because it went in the water. He goes out of bounds, he brings it back. His next shot goes out of bounds again. Same spot, so now he has to go back, drop again. Again, he's now hitting 7.
Yeah, he went from went 1 over to 6 over. He just
he ends up 44 yards from the hole, and he still didn't have much of a lie. He tried to get a rules official to try to help him out here. He now just hit his 8th shot.
Yeah. So
and he is.
When he finally got out, he got on the green in 1 shot, and then he made his putt. So he's done with that hole, but now he's gone from 1 over, which would have been making the cut easily.
He's 7 over
to
now?
6 over now.
Yeah. So he had a 10.
Yeah. So he's 6 over par right now. The cut line is at 3, so he's pretty much done because
he got 3 holes to go.
Yeah, he's got 3 holes to go.
But that's a par 5. He just brutalized himself. But again, that's something I would do. You hit a bad shot, you're just trying to, and then he just popped it up twice. He tries to overpower, and he's been able to do that. He's been on this great stretch, but he's going to most likely miss the cut. And he's been hot, red hot. He's red hot right now, not in a good way. All right, a couple of other notes. I saw this Madden 21. They've been having these rankings. Top-rated wide receiver, Paul.
Michael Thomas.
He had a 99. So Patrick Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey, Aaron Donald, Gilmore from New England, the cornerback, and Michael Thomas are the members of this year's Madden 99 club. Has anyone ever gotten 100?
No, I mean 99 is the highest you can get.
So that was there today. That happened today. One note about the Redskins, Daniel Snyder, the sexual harassment, and also the story by the Washington Post. The NFL is going to allow the Redskins to have their own internal investigation and defer to whoever they hired to do this. Now, they didn't do that with the Saints.
No.
So there seems to be a little bit of, They've engaged outside counsel, not the NFL counsel. Outside counsel always seems, you would think, unless it's the Pepper Hamilton people. Well, I don't know. Maybe they did what they wanted them to do.
Yeah, I don't know. But
yeah, just a thought.
I don't think that that's ever a good thing. I'll use a government example. I have some friends that are fishing guides in Florida, and the sugar lobby, the sugar farmers, were dumping a lot of waste into the waterways, and they're getting in the canals. It was killing a ton of fish, and so they went to the government and said, you need to create some sort of council to monitor this. And the government said, look, we haven't been watching the sugar people, but now we're going to say that they have to do it, but they can do it on their own. Well, what do you think they're going to do?
Yeah,
they're going to do the bare minimum.
They're going to do
So that's
absolutely.
what you can't, you have to, if you want to punish somebody or have somebody stop it, you can't just say, pick whoever you want.
Yeah.
We'll take that. I mean, that's just that. The NFL should know better.
So Bryson DeChambeau, who can hit the ball 400 yards, it seems like now, just took a 10 on a par 5. And Nicholas has got this course getting tricked up. But again, there's guys gone low. There's 2 guys at 9 under par. They're going to go low. They'll end up with double digits to win this weekend. But that's amazing if you think about it. All right, when we come back, Travis McClain played wide receiver at Baylor. And he's now on the staff at Salina. But one of the things he's been able to do is he's very smart and very much in tune to technology. He has like his own little studio, and I think it might be where he lives. And he does some of these YouTube and other type instructional videos, and it's kind of taken off. We'll talk with Travis McClain. He played back in the same time period that RG3 did, just like Lanier Sampson. He's next on Sikkim 365 Radio. IdealMRI.com, the title sponsor of our show, helping save you thousands of dollars in healthcare costs. How? Let's say you have something that's more than just a pain. It's really a serious problem, and you're not sure if it's, well, you would go get an x-ray for a broken bone, or you might have a ligament issue, or you might have a muscle issue, and sometimes you feel like you have all of that and you have none of it. It's just, well, just something that you did something to pull something, but it's not torn. It's not an ACL, but man, your knee hurts. It's not a broken bone in your foot, but God, your foot hurts. Or your shoulder. It's maybe not a rotator cuff, or maybe it is, or a torn bicep. And your doctor wants you to get an MRI. Contact IdealMRI.com. They're in the Central Texas marketplace, right there off of I-35 in Waco. Dr. Rob Maxey and his staff have done an amazing job of lowering healthcare costs because they can save you thousands on an MRI. And sometimes an MRI just at a few $100s instead of $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 or whatever it might be. Even if it's $1,000, they can save you money. And they have this amazing MRI machine. It's just like the big boys, just like the hospital systems, and it's right there inside the Central Texas marketplace. It's easy to check online, IdealMRI.com, to get an appointment. When you're there, they register you. You'll talk to Texan specialists. They'll get you in the MRI machine. And when I was there to check on my shoulder, you know what? It was just as comfortable of an MRI, and I've had a handful, that I've ever experienced, because the people there, the staff there, the specialists, the techs are fantastic. And so ask your doctor if there's something that's, well, they want an MRI, ask them about Ideal MRI. They'll know in the Central Texas marketplace in Waco, IdealMRI.com. The Wedding Ring Store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
Texas board-certified personal injury trial lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recall drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at texastriallawyer.com. Principal office located in Houston, Texas.
What are you supposed to do when you pull up behind a truck that doesn't even have a hitch? I mean, it's like looking at plumber's crack. Do you cover your kids' eyes, look away, and switch radio stations? Hi, Jay here from Pickup Outfitters, asking for your help to end this embarrassing form of truck nudity. If you have a truck, at some point you need to pull something. It could be a trailer to haul stuff off to the dump, maybe a jet ski, a boat, an RV, a horse trailer, even just a bike rack. The point is, put a hitch on your truck's backside. And at Pickup Outfitters, we actually install more hitches than anything else. Whether it's a receiver hitch, a gooseneck, or a fifth wheel, we'll cover your aspirations to not drive a nude truck. And all hitches are covered by the Pickup Outfitters Lifetime Installation Guarantee. So cover your rear end with a new hitch from Pickup Outfitters on Lake Erie Drive in Waco, where we're fighting to end truck nudity in Central Texas. Check them out on our website at createacommotion.com/hitches.
Waco's newest gym, Halo Athletic Center, 5725 Bagby Avenue, right behind Region 12 and across the highway from the Central Texas Marketplace, where motivation, inspiration, and hard work are the driving force. State-of-the-art equipment, indoor and outdoor track, locker rooms, showers, yoga and bar classes by Duality Yoga, Bod Pod potty composition analysis, and registered dietitians, all under one roof, where we rise above. Come join the Halo Athletic Center and be a part of the change, your change.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. The Sikkim 365 Radio app is sponsored by Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
He played wide receiver at Baylor earlier. About an hour ago, we had Lanier Sampson on the show. He's now an assistant coach at Salina, and he's becoming someone through his work online, YouTube, and much more, his coaching clinics and kind of his coaching type work online with YouTube is becoming a hit as well. Travis McClain joins us on Sikkim 365 Radio. So when you were in high school and then maybe even at Baylor, did you ever think at some point you might become as involved as you are online as we are this day and age?
Absolutely not. No chance. It was kind of a running joke for maybe the past year and a half that me and a couple of my high school buddies had about, streaming and doing anything with Twitch or YouTube. And we always joked around about it, and then the entire world went into a lockdown with an unknown end. So I figured, what better way to fill some time throughout the day. And I've loved every minute of it.
Hey, by the way, twitch.tv/Coach TMac84. Paul, what is Twitch? It's another way to just put it out there.
It's the one that Dylan, our intern, is a star on.
All right. YouTuber, podcaster, and we're going to get more into that as well. We had Lanier Sampson on. You know the lineage and the greatness of what the wide receivers were like, and you arrived at Baylor about the time when things were starting to make a turn for the better. What was it like to be a part of the program that early time period when you were there and as a freshman in 2007?
It was something that was it's really hard to describe. The early months, really that first year, from December 2007 to December 2008, there were a lot of things that went on that everybody within the program could look at and say, this is completely different, and something really, really special is about to happen, and nobody else knows it, but in due time they're going to wish they believed us. Because we could see what was going on behind closed doors, and we were just waiting on the time when Saturday would show everything that was changing that nobody else saw during the week.
When the offense really started to take hold, I think early on people thought like, well, this is a high school offense, or this is, how's this going to work or whatever. When it really started to take hold, was there ever a situation that you guys were worried about when it came to scoring points?
No chance. It didn't matter who was on the other side of the field or what personnel they had. We were trained to understand within the system, within the off-season program, we were trained and we confidently believed that there was nobody in the country that could line up across from us and make us question our ability to do what it was that we practiced every day.
Yeah, we asked Lanier that. We've asked Clay Fuller that, Corey Coleman that, Terrence Williams that, on and on and on about when there was no huddle, but when you guys lined up and you were constantly rapid fire, no huddle, quick, run, let's go. Could you tell when you lined up, whether in practice and or in a game, this guy is in trouble?
Absolutely. And even failed plays, the ones where we don't get a first down or we don't score on a big play, seeing the sigh of relief that, they felt like they got a game-changing break because a simple misstep in execution allowed them to catch their breath. That right there, just seeing the fear and the hesitation in their eyes just reaffirmed that confidence that we had in our ability to do what it was that we practiced.
Mm-hmm.
So now as you're doing videos, you're doing these things as a coach, how much of that enthusiasm comes from being a walk-on? And when you're a walk-on at any level of college football, but especially at the level that you played on, you have to have a love and enthusiasm for the game because your life is not easy.
No, it was not at all. And I still reflect on some conversations with some former teammates of, them remembering me that first year or even that first year and a half to where I was in the latter part of my career, just as a person within the team, within the program, within the locker room. And it's something that, I have to work on to not let it affect every aspect of my life, but it's something that you don't ever really lose that chip on your shoulder because there were a lot of people who said, oh, he can't do that. He's wasting his time. Oh, that's a joke, or that'll never happen. And did it feel good to prove them wrong? Absolutely. But it also just furthered the motivation to prove them wrong on whatever the next step was on the list. So trying to convey that to the kids that we coach today, and it's a little different working at a storied program like Salina where everybody's used to success and winning a lot of football games, but being able to convey, that determination and motivation in slightly different ways is something that 100% is attributed to the path that I took from, my college playing career.
Well, you walked on from Weatherford, and so who would be the better story? Let's say, for example, a guy that played and was an All-American or All-Big 12 receiver or any conference, and then maybe had a chance to play a little bit in the NFL, like Lanier Sampson. You have a story of perseverance and resiliency and also taking a risk and being fearless. So if you're a high school player, can't they relate to you more than they could someone else?
Yes and no. They can. They just, not everybody wants to. It's more entertaining. It's more convenient, to see the guy that, produced a lot and had recruiters coming to see him at school. And, the immediate attribution to that based off of societal norms is that this guy did it, so he has to know what he's talking about. This other guy didn't do it the conventional way, had to put in 3 times as much work, had to put in 3 times as much effort, had to do things that nobody else had to do. So he must clearly not know what I need to do because I'm probably more like this guy. It's so much of it has to do with that self-reflection and, that self-perception that however they view themselves and then whatever those goals are that they want to accomplish, that's who they're going to most likely see themselves in and be more likely to believe. Now, fortunately, I've had the privilege of having these guys that have been successful, whether it be high school teammates that went and played somewhere else or my college teammates that have backed me up, in person or on social media. So now there's a lot of that like, oh, okay, you kind of do know what you're talking about. I'll go ahead and listen to you.
We're talking again to Travis McClain. He's at Salina High School. Weatherford High School is where he went to school, played at Baylor, and also was a part of that rise, was there in 07, Guy Morris, and then the year that Art Briles arrived, and then eventually the bowl drought that ended, and then on the team that went 10-3. So where did you get into this Coach's Corner, the YouTube video? Whose idea was that? Google Classroom. I watched part of it last night. There's videos, there's graphics, whatever. I mean, how much time does it take into doing one of those?
So it's a little different because a lot of the stuff that I end up putting on YouTube, the content itself comes from a live stream, and then I just clip a certain part of it and then touch it up with maybe an intro or, an outro, something of that nature. So I save a little time there, kind of getting a little bit more bang for my buck. But it's, we've been making highlight videos for, pregame playoff runs, like the Thursday night before a playoff game here at Salina, or right in the locker room before we go out on a Friday night for a playoff game. We've been making those basically since I got here in 2015. So I was able to kind of dabble with the editing and stuff of that nature through iMovie on my MacBook. And so you get to wait around the kiddie pool from an editing standpoint that way. And then with all this free time that everybody's had that transitioned into summertime, I was kind of able to have some trial and error and play with some stuff that way. And I really love it. It doesn't seem like it takes too long. My wife might start to disagree here depending on what it looks like as we move into the fall. But I would say that no video ever really takes more than a couple hours.
But I saw your setup. Mm-hmm. It looks like you almost have like a studio. Was that all stuff that you yourself slowly but surely bought, accumulated, and eventually developed?
Yeah, over that first month, I kind of accumulated it all in pieces, but pretty quick. Found a guy that used to stream that was selling his PC and monitor and keyboard, bells and whistles, and then I added a keyboard or another monitor that I found on Facebook Market, an audio mixer that I found on sale at Amazon, a mic that I saw a bunch of reviews that was great bang for your buck. And so the pieces came together pretty quick, but it definitely wasn't anything I walked into Best Buy one day and said, I need all these things today. So,
Travis, let me warn you. It's someone, and now granted, most of the stuff in here, Sigum 365 is paid for right now, but as someone who has a studio and does a podcast out of his house, you can find yourself on a real slippery slope, and all of a sudden you're like, how much money did I just spend?
Absolutely, and I got that raised eyebrow more than once from my significant other. So I keep telling her, I keep painting the picture of the long-term success and the long-term investment is so she can stay home and either work from home or not work at all. And as long as she keeps buying that story, I'm going to keep selling it.
When RG3 walked on campus in 2008. And immediately made kind of a pretty much of an impact. And then, of course, we know 2009 was wrecked with the injury. When you saw him for the first time, you watched him do what he was doing. Did you know he had everyone knew about his world-class speed, and they knew he was a fantastic player at Copper's Cove. What did you know when you first maybe took a pass or caught a pass or just saw him in practice?
The story that sticks out to me, and you'll have to forgive me if any of my other teammates have told this story, but that first off season, Coach Kaz put us through. It was a little bit of a growing session. You young guys that are here, you've got to understand that there's somebody in front of you. You've got to have a goal, and I want you to say this goal out loud in front of your teammates. And you older guys need to listen to these younger guys say this because that's who's going to push you to be better. And it was, who are you, where are you from, and whose job are you here to take? And this baby-faced 18-year-old that, we could see the athleticism, but a lot of people had a lot of questions about, walked in front of basically his entire team, looked him dead in the eye and said, I'm Robert Griffin. I'm from Copper's Cove, and I'm not here to take anybody's job. I'm here to have my job. And it was like, okay, you set a precedent. And from every day from that point forward, he did nothing but prove that it was his job and he was going to do everything in his power to make us successful.
I want my job. It's not like, so that's kind of him though, right? That's kind of what allows some of those guys have that kind of edge. We had Robert on the show Tuesday. In fact, we're going to replay the interview here momentarily. We're talking to Travis McClain, assistant football coach at Salina. He has coaches type clinics, and what would you call them? He's Coach's Corner. And you're developing kind of a little bit of a following. Not a little bit. It looks like you're developing a following right now.
And so there's a couple different YouTube channels out there. High school coaches are becoming really good at using technology to our advantage. There's a lot of times where all these college coaches, hey, when you can come out and see us, our doors are open. And it's always true. I would never knock a program that says that and it not be true. But there's a lot of times we're limited on time. We're limited on, resources from the high school standpoint. So coaches have done a really good job at the high school level and even the junior high and youth level of getting on YouTube. And, you can learn how to do anything on YouTube. You can learn how to change the tire on a Mercedes-Benz, or, you can learn how to run mesh. It just depends on what you're looking for. And so there's a lot of guys out there that they talk concepts and they talk install schedules. And my big thing is what I've always attributed to my game and what allowed me to have any type of reputation or confidence within the room of guys that I sat there with, which, 7 of them played in the NFL, was I had to be really, really good at what it was that we were doing. I couldn't just outrun people. I couldn't just throw people out of the way. I had to be a technician. So it's very technically driven for the most part when it comes to football, where we're talking technique, we're talking steps, we're talking how can I manipulate, certain aspects of the rules or the game to my advantage to give maybe a player that's like me or, a player that's smaller, maybe not as fast as I was, an opportunity to still be successful. And then trying to give other guys who have great stories or great experiences a place where they can come share that information, whatever it is that is unique to their path, somewhere where they can talk about it. And if we want to talk concepts, if we want to talk ball, we'll jump into that too, and then we'll play some video games.
So there's a fraternity brother that reached out to us when he heard that we had you on the show. And I don't know. I mean, that could have been a little nerve-wracking when I say that to you. But no, Colt Barber said you were a fraternity brother of his at Baylor. Great guy, great ambassador for Baylor and also in the high school ranks.
Absolutely. And Colt, so we were at, not only were we fraternity brothers, we're the same age. And he texted me earlier today and I said, man, I know how involved he is with everything that goes on with y'all and the success that Sikkim 365 is having. And, it means a lot, there's every relationship and they all have their ups and downs and different stresses and, and then on top of that, everybody branches out and goes their own way. But, I think that that's something that's even more unique about, my time in college and at Baylor is that I really felt like I was able to have success doing more than one thing that people say you only get to choose this or that.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to build those relationships with my teammates that are so unique and they're unmatched. But then on the flip side and, on the school side and the social side, being able to build those relationships from a Greek orientation, a Greek program standpoint, and maintain those and, have a book club with guys that I was in a fraternity with or a fantasy draft, be able to foster those relationships long-term too, is something that I'm really proud of because I think, like I said, I think it's something unique to my story.
No question about it. It's a great story to tell. Travis, proud of what you're doing with what you're doing online, what you've done technically, what you're doing at Salina, one of the great traditions in all of high school football history with what they've done, and also your story of what you accomplished when you were at Baylor. Thanks for your time. I love the RG3 story. That's a different perspective. I was told you might have a couple of those. And good luck, stay safe, and thank you.
Thank y'all very much for having me on. Y'all do the same.
Travis McClain at Salina High School, an assistant coach with Weatherford High School, went to Baylor, got his degree, and was a walk-on in 07. And now, of course, someone who's really, really climbing the rank. You can see where he's getting his experience in different ways with what he's doing technologically at the high school level. Coming up next is Tyler Holcomb, head coach at Riker, on the TAP's decision of when they can start actually having fall workouts and conditioning and practices and games on Sikkim 365 Radio.
It's employee pricing for everyone right now at Richard Carr. You pay what employees pay all month long. Qualified buyers can save over $7,000 on 2020 Acadias or Yukons, or save over $6,000 on Terrains. They've also got the Buick Encores, the perfect crossover SUV with a quiet ride, roomy interior, and packed with safety features and the latest technology. Right now, you can get a Buick Encore for only $19,900. It's a savings of $6,000 on a 2020 Encore. And if you're looking for the ultimate in luxury, style, power, all wrapped up in a new SUV, well, don't settle. Drive the Cadillac XT4, XT5, or the 7-passenger Cadillac XT6. Experience the thrill of owning a Cadillac XT4 right now for only $35,900 at Richard Carr Cadillac. You get great prices, free oil changes with a new purchase, and in-town priority warranty service, all when you buy a vehicle from Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac. Richard Carr Motors are the people you can count on. A local family dealer run by Baylor Bear alumni. They want the chance to earn your business. So stop by the Daily Disinfected showroom, see their safety-focused staff, or they can bring the test drive to your home, because your comfort and safety is Richard Carr's first priority. Find them at richardcarr.com or Highway 6 at the Imperial Exit.
Dr. Kent Petty wants you to be the highest performance man you want to be. Are you sluggish, lack energy? Do you suffer from low sex drive? Petty Clinic Low T offers discounted comprehensive lab work to check on your various levels that can make a difference. It's not only time for you to be the man you want to be with higher energy and stamina and improved sex drive, but also the healthiest and high performance man. Screening for cardiac heart disease risk, EKG, cholesterol panel, blood pressure monitoring, testosterone or growth hormone deficiency, male infertility, hepatitis C, and prostate cancer screening. Petty Clinic Low T offers replacement therapy for testosterone or growth hormones, weight management therapy, and nutritional advice. It's not only time for you to be the man you want to be with higher energy, stamina, and improved sex drive, but the healthiest and highest performance man. PettyClinicLowT.com, PettyClinicLowT.com on Old Hewitt Road, just off Highway 84 in Woodway. PettyClinicLowT.com.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction with a team of 24 experienced agents who are excited about serving you. Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home. How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, hot still, baby blue, French oak, rye, and brimstone. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive at 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of health care while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of health care has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. Log on to the Willis Law Firm chat room on Sikkim365.com.
Well, that's good timing.
Yeah.
Woodrow's, someone's dropping off something from Amazon, right, Paul?
I don't think so, but
you got
never
groceries
know.
coming?
No,
Pizza?
nothing.
All right, Paul Catalina with me, Craig Smoke, taking a couple of days off, enjoying just some peace and quiet. We're into the 5 o'clock hour here in a minute. We'll have the play from our interview with RG3 that we had from earlier this week. We'll have that in the 5 o'clock hour. But earlier today we mentioned that TAPS has come down with a decision about what they're going to do as far as a schedule, a protocol for the private and parochial schools TAPS. And a delay in the training camp starting, but September 15th, games as early as the 28th, and, of course, everything else in between. Tyler Holcomb, head coach at Riker Catholic, joins us on Sikkim 365 Radio. When you saw that, because there's so much unknown, no one knows. I mean, the UIL might be able to have an answer for us for what they're doing on Monday, if that early. When you saw that there was at least dates and things you could do, what was your reaction?
Well, I was fired up like fireworks on the 4th of July, baby. I'm excited. Just the fact that we're getting to play some football and our student athletes are going to get to participate in the fall. Everybody hated to see what happened in the spring, and so I think it was the right decision to give the student athletes an opportunity to get a chance to play.
Well, and obviously, the season is much shorter, which is a bummer, but given the alternative and the fact that you guys were kind of operating with very little information, this has got to be a relief in that now you prepare for a 5-game season and you roll with that and move on from whatever happens after 5 games.
No doubt. And, the way they have it set up right now is that we start back, or we can have strength and conditioning on September 8th. We'll be able to do that for a week, and then we go through September 15th. And once we get to September 15th, we can strap on the pads, have a week of practice there, then have another week of practice, and then we're allowed one scrimmage, and then we'll start our first game the week of September 28th.
So now that you have this, what does that mean for now? Do you guys still get to do your off-season workout, or does that mean you're shut down until the 15th?
Well, I've actually been spending the majority of the day trying to figure that out, and so the way we have it set up, because this is kind of uncharted territory. We start school. Our plan is to go back to school on August 19th. So even though we're back in school, we'll still be typically under the TAPS summer rules. So that gives us that 15 hours a week where we have the 2 hours of strength and conditioning and an hour of instruction each day. So that's kind of our plan up until school starts. Once school starts, then obviously we can't have required practices, but with us being back in school, I'm hoping that our student athletes are going to be bought in to where, because we will hold practices as of August 19th when we're back at school, but they'll be obviously voluntary. So that's kind of our plan moving forward to this point, and we'll have one tune-up scrimmage. And then we start right into district play because for us, we were in an 18 district. So we lost our 3 preseason games. And then one of our district games is what it looks like. We have a district meeting on Tuesday, and we're going to discuss that in further detail. And so that's subject to change, but that's the way it sits at this particular time.
Now, is the plan for Riker now to go into in-person classes on August 19th, or will you be online in the at least in the beginning of the year?
Well, that's our plan. Our plan is to have face-to-face instruction. That's our goal. We've sent out several surveys to our families in our community. That's been the overwhelming majority of what people want. That's what we want. We want to see our students in the classroom and be able them to have access to us and have hands-on learning. So that's our plan at this particular time. Now, that is obviously subject to change, whether with that gets taken out of our hands, but that's our plan right now.
So originally, and correct me if I'm wrong, your scrimmages were going to be against Teague and Covenant Christian. You were going to open up against Central Texas Christian School, Marlin, and then Holland. Those were your 3 non-district games, a bye week, and then Shelton. So Shelton's the game right now that it appears as if you might lose, or is that the one where you would start?
That's from my understanding, we can't start back till the week of September 28th. That's the week of games.
Oh, okay.
So
Sure,
I believe that's a Monday. So that would push like October 2nd or whatever that is.
Right.
And so that our first game, I believe, is going to be against First Baptist.
Yeah. Okay.
First Baptist Academy.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's you hate not to have the full thing, but there was a chance you had nothing. So in the end, is this? Yeah.
It's glass half full as far as I'm concerned. We have an opportunity to play. We have an opportunity to have this time with our student athletes. From a coaching standpoint, I feel like what we're building is something special, and I think this could be a really special year. So to have any part of that, it's a glass half full situation on our end.
Yeah, I could see that because at least you're going to play games. District meeting Tuesday will kind of settle that down. Maybe there's going to be teams that don't play everybody. That's part of the deal. You have college football conferences where that doesn't happen as well. So, man, that's good. And I don't know, the UIL, have you heard any? I know that it's TAPS, but you're supposed to play Marlin and Holland, a couple of UIL schools. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to have maybe something that comes out on Monday. You have any gut feeling of what they might do?
Man, I really don't know. With them being their districts being spread out and obviously having a lot more teams, there's a lot more that those guys are going to have to take into consideration. To be honest with you, I was really surprised that TAPS came out before UIL because, the majority of the time we kind of followed their lead. But I think that there were some extenuating circumstances that might have affected that. And so TAPS jumped on board. They had a clear picture of what they wanted to do, and we're moving forward. And I'm really excited about the possibilities of what this fall is going to hold.
Yep. You guys, you did close the year, and you had kind of started, getting that momentum, and especially mentally, your guys were really locking in it. I'm sure it's great to be at least back to where you can continue some of that momentum.
Man, it's huge, and like you said, our kids, we did have a lot of momentum going into the spring, and our kids have really kept up with that momentum. They've every time we've been allowed to have workouts, we've had great turnouts. I mean, anywhere from 25 to 35 kids, and it's been really special. And I know that our kids are going to be ready to go once we're ready to start. Whenever that date is, whatever they put in concrete, our kids are going to be ready to go. Right now, that date is September 8th, as far as from mandatory. And so I know we're going to be ready to go, and it's going to be a good time.
One of the things about being able to play games, and you've got Eli Cummings, the running back, and Jake Boozer, quarterback, and Borman, Strain, others as well. This gives some young men that want to play college football, whatever level it might be, a chance, if in fact things go according to plan, to be on tape. How much of that? It's about going back to school and getting back into school and also having a chance to play, compete, whatever. How much will that help, not just with your players, but with players that otherwise may not see or get much contact, but unless they have a chance to be seen again?
Well, I learned a long time ago that it's incredible what difference 1 year can make in a student athlete. My brother was a kid that didn't mature. He had matured late. And from his junior to his senior year, he was a completely different player. So we have some guys like that in that boat as well. So they may not have been the guys that they're going to be this coming year as seniors, because we've got some guys that I feel like can be big time players, and it's going to be they'll have an opportunity to get some film, and we'll work like crazy to get them recruited and get them in the eye of coaches. But you hit the nail on the head when you said, just to have the opportunity to get that film, whether it's 5 games or 3 games, that's huge.
Thank you, Tyler. The glass half full. I wish we could all have that feeling, and I try to as much as I can.
Tyler's always been like that.
Yeah.
We go back.
I know.
We go way back.
Good to see you on the golf course the other day, too. We had a good time at Ridgewood. I appreciate it. It was great that you were a part of that group with Brad. Tyler, thank you very much. At least it looks like there's something to grab onto when it comes to TAPS. We'll find out more Monday from the University Interscholastic League on everyone else, the 1,200 plus or 1,300 schools in the UIL. It's going to be interesting It's like you've heard and seen with the ACC, SEC, and Big 12 who are trying to hang on, tap the brakes, take a deep breath. Things may change for the better or worse in the next day, 2, 5, or 7, 12, 3 weeks, whatever. But there might be some teams that lost non-conference games to the Big 10 or the Pac-12 that might be able to find ways to play games if, in fact, things are decent. High school football, too. Mm-hmm. High school football as well. With, in fact, teams that lose a game to Riker or the private schools have a chance to maybe have somebody else open up if the season starts the last weekend in August, and most likely it probably won't, but we'll see. Coming up next, we're going to re-rack the interview with Robert Griffin III. This is Sikkim 365 Radio.
Are you in the market for a new home? Are you trying to sell your home, or you have a home you're looking to unload? Well, you need to contact my buddy Lance Donaldson and the Donaldson family team, brokered by eXp Realty. Let them be your go-to source as you search for that perfect home. Just give Lance a call, 254-214-3713, or visit his webpage, lancedonaldson.exprealty.com. He'll guide you through the whole process. It'll be easy. It'll be great. Lance is a great listener. He's a great guy. He's something like Lance is a dude that you'd want to hang out with, even if you weren't buying houses. If you're not, he's just that fun. He's someone who's going to really make the process enjoyable for you, and he's going to help you find that dream home. Again, Lance Donaldson at eXp Realty, 254-214-3713, or lancedonaldson.exprealty.com.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, French oak, rye, and brimstone. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive at 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one, commercial, farm and ranch, or residential. Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction with a team of 24 experienced agents who are excited about serving you. Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Dr. Kent Petty wants you to be the highest performance man you want to be. Are you sluggish, lack energy? Do you suffer from low sex drive? Petty Clinic Low T offers discounted comprehensive lab work to check on your various levels that can make a difference. It's not only time for you to be the man you want to be with higher energy and stamina and improved sex drive, but also the healthiest and high performance man. Screening for cardiac heart disease risk, EKG, cholesterol panel, blood pressure monitoring, testosterone or growth hormone deficiency, male infertility, hepatitis C, and prostate cancer screening. Petty Clinic Low T offers replacement therapy for testosterone or growth hormones, weight management therapy, and nutritional advice. It's not only time for you to be the man you want to be with higher energy, stamina, and improved sex drive, but the healthiest and highest performance man. PettyClinicLowT.com, PettyClinicLowT.com on Old Hewitt Road, just off Highway 84 in Woodward. PettyClinicLowT.com.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace, and order 30-pound bags of live crawfish by noon on Thursday and pick up on Friday to enjoy the weekend. Live crawfish available right now, and Waco Custom Marketplace doors are open for business Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5. And crawfish boil boxes available as well. Make your order for live crawfish by noon on Thursday. Pick up on Friday for the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh kolaches, cinnamon rolls, and baked bread daily. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, and house-cured and smoked bacon. Spices, seasonings, soup mixes, charcoal, and lighter fluid. Waco Custom Marketplace. Doors open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5. 425 Lake Air Drive or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments with financial advisor Tom Albers, staying in touch with you and your money through these difficult and changing times. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
He has time, launches it to the end zone. Touchdown! Terrence Williams!
This segment on Baylor Athletics on Sikkim 365 Radio is brought to you by Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, located at the Imperial Drive exit off Loop 340 in Waco. Proud supporters of all Baylor Athletics.
We'll hear in our replay from Robert Griffin III momentarily. Brian McCarthy, NFL PR guy, Craig sent this to me. Paul, I'm not sure if you saw this statement or not, that they had a video conference. All NFL clubs met, received an update on preparations for the year, continue to implement the health and safety protocols developed jointly with the NFLPA and based on the advice of the leading medical experts and reviews by the CDC. We will address additional issues in a cooperative way. All decisions will be made in effort, put us in position to play a full regular season, postseason, culminating with the Super Bowl, which is shared goal of the clubs and the players. So, you know, you see some things where they're not really on the same page, but that was nice to see, whether or not it was a little bit of a statement NFL shined it up or not.
What baseball did. Baseball, this whole thing with baseball, in 2022, when this collective bargaining agreement is up, we're probably going to have a lockout because things are not going to get better in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not going to happen.
So it's 5:10. This week, we hope we've brought you all sorts of different angles of different interviews of different levels of different sports. But having, with all due respect to everybody else, Michael Johnson, Robert Griffin III, and Earl Campbell this week those are bangers. Those are some heavy hitters.
Those are some guys that have some accomplishments.
And all the other ones were fantastic as well. So we had Earl and Robert on the same show. In fact, it worked out pretty well because RG3 could not appear when he was supposed to be with us on Monday. So he said, I'll do Tuesday. You tell me what time. So we were able to have him on. Craig and Paul, I'm David Smoke, Sikkim 365 Radio. We have done this about every third week. And I'd love to replay Earl, too, and Michael Johnson, but RG3 earlier this week on Sikkim 365 Radio. Robert Griffin III. You know, earlier we had Earl Campbell, Heisman Trophy winner, and now we have Baylor's Heisman Trophy winner in RG3, Baltimore Ravens quarterback, with us on Sikkim 365 Radio. All right, I'm going to start with something. I saw you today on the Madden 2021 on the speed meter, whatever they do with the speed number. That bothered you, didn't it?
Yeah, to say the least. To say the least, it bothered me. Look, man, I understand that it's political for the most part, right? You know, you can't be rated higher than a starter if you're not a current starter, yada, yada, yada. But if there's one thing they should get right, it should be the speed rating on Madden. And I'm not even on the list. I'm like, okay, come on, guys. Most people know I'm the fastest quarterback in the league, but you don't even put me on the list. And then, you know, that's just bogus, man. It's not right.
Robert, also, you've been there to EA Sports in the past. They know.
Yeah, I was a cover athlete of NCAA, and I've worked with EA in the past. But you know, sometimes I guess people forget. You just think that, you know, they wouldn't forget a world class Olympic level sprinter playing quarterback. But you know, maybe the guys that only play quarterback are just fast as hell.
What was that like, Robert? I wasn't around at the time. I came around about 2 years later, but to be on the cover of NCAA, which I think everybody wishes we still had around, what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, it was a great experience. I think that might be one of the most requested games that be brought back by fans all over the place. I thought it was awesome. It wasn't just cool for me and my family, but it was cool for the university because I think we did the shoot right in Fountain Mall, and everybody was able to come out and kind of see what was going on. So I think it was a great experience in that, and I'm all for bringing the game back. So yeah, maybe I have to go talk to those guys about that Madden speed rating, at least that,
I remember that moment in front of the fountain because I was able to grab you. You were inside kind of a cordoned off area. And then eventually when you went up for the NFL draft, EA Sports had a party at some place in New York. And I remember I had a chance to get you off to the side, and there was Kirk Herbstreit, and there was Aaron Andrews, and many, many others. Do you miss that attention, or do you kind of like the attention you get now?
Oh, I mean, I don't know what way to describe that. I don't miss the attention. I think that, that attention that I got coming out was a byproduct of the excitement that was created at Baylor, the byproduct of, being the eventual second pick in the draft and then going off and doing the great things we did in Washington my rookie year. So I think the attention comes with the success. And when have had the career that I've had over the course of the years and the ups and downs and the injuries and the, not getting opportunities, I think that's a byproduct of that. That's why the attention isn't as high. But that's what I was saying. Like, I understand an overall rating or this or that, but if there's one thing you're going to get right, it's got to be my speed. Come on, guys.
Well, you did the interview with John Keim last week. We had him on the show about your time in Washington. Was that cathartic for you to kind of be able to go back with some distance and perspective and kind of to go through some of that?
I think that a lot of people have wanted me to do that, and I just shied away from it because I didn't feel like it was the right time. And John, to his credit, he chased me for like 3 years, trying to get me to do that interview or that podcast. And I just told him, with everything that was going on in the world with inequality and the protests, I felt like it was the right time to have the conversation and be able to add that, like you said, that perspective and over the years seeing things in a different way. And just being frank about it. Like, I'm not really interested in people knowing my side of the story because, like I always said, there's always three sides to a story. One side, the other person's side, and the truth. So I just didn't feel like it was my job or my responsibility to go out there and do that. But when presented a question, I'm not going to avoid the question. I'm going to answer it. And I think that's what that was about. And I think people have wanted to hear that for a long time. And, hopefully they got something out of it.
Robert, the Washington franchise still exists, but the Redskins no longer do as of yesterday, as a matter of fact. And this is something that was, hotly debated for years and years and years, but has finally now happened, and we'll see what their name is moving forward. But do you have any thoughts on that name change and the meaning behind it?
I think that it'll be interesting for all the alumni, right? Like, what are we? Are we the Washingtons? I don't know. We'll see what the new name is, and then hopefully the organization will give us an opportunity to turn in our old memorabilia and get the new stuff. Because I got a draft jersey and captain's jerseys and the Pro Bowl jersey that all have the old name on them. So are they gonna do right by us and give us an opportunity to get the new stuff? And it'll be interesting, to say the least. I think a lot of fans will look at it in a way that they'll always see the team name as that team name, and it's going to take a couple generations before people actually get used to the new name.
Robert, you are now with the Ravens, and obviously last year, such a great run, and then it just ended in a thud in the postseason. And you also are back in the league after, and you've discussed this with us before when we had you on our debut show on April the 6th, of what you had to kind of learn and go through to get back in the league. Being back in the league, do I sense that you've regained a lot of your confidence back?
Yeah, I would say that the year off gave me clarity to kind of know what I want to do, what I want to be, and what type of player that I know I am. So I'm just eager to be able to go out and show it. And I know in Baltimore, no one really wants to see it, right? Because they don't want the starter to go down or get hurt or anything. But my job is to prove by way of, latching on and earning my way with an organization like the Baltimore Ravens, that other organizations will see that and say, man, we got to give this guy a shot. We got to give him a chance. And that's really all I've been working for, not hoping for it, not begging for it, just working for it. And I feel like I've done that to this point with Baltimore, and we'll continue to do that every single day. So I'm ready to roll. Confidence is all-time high. And when I get my opportunity, I'll make the most of it.
When you were looking for a job, you're out of the league for a year. It's not like you can be all that picky about where you go when you get offers. But to wind up with an organization like Baltimore, one that they just handle their business well, Robert. I mean, everything seems to kind of go the right way for them because of the way they do things. How much of that is a benefit to you for the next step in your career, whatever that is?
Yeah, I think it was paramount. I think it was the most important thing. I agree with you. In 17, I had options, and I turned them down. Well, when 18 came around and I had been out of the league for a year, then you just have to make hard decisions. And I made the hard decision to go be the fourth quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens and try to earn my keep on a league minimum deal. And I earned my way through that. So the Ravens, like you said, they just do business the right way. And when I say business, they make it easy for me as a player to enjoy the game because it's all based off the merits of what I do on the field. And they're going to have our back off the field. They're going to have our back in the media. They're going to have our back organizationally because it's all moving towards one common goal, and that goal is winning. So I think it was awesome. And the more important part that I think people overlook is that in order for you to stick on with an organization like the Baltimore Ravens, you have to be what they call a Ravens guy. And the Ravens guy is what teams all around the league want. They want guys who are dedicated, who are smart, who are talented, and who are all going to help you achieve that common goal. So I think because I was able to stick with an organization like that, my prayer is that it was able to change the perception. It was a wrong perception, but at the end of the day, that was the perception about me. And I think it was able to change that perception around the league to say, wow, if this guy can stick on with the Baltimore Ravens and can do all these things to help the starter and to put himself in a good light, I think teams see that and they say, all right, maybe we should give this guy a shot.
Robert, given all that's going on in the world right now, whether it be, protests, racial unrest here in this country, whether it be COVID-19 obviously as well, what are your thoughts on, training camps right around the corner, the season, all the precaution and protocols and everything that comes with that? I mean, we're watching the Major League Baseball and NBA trying to get back to it right now, but just how are you feeling about the NFL and kind of how everything's set up at the moment?
Guys, I can tell you this. I can be long-winded on this one, but I'm going to just keep it real short. I mean, it's not looking good. My confidence isn't very high. I think there's more issues every single day. The outbreak numbers are going up every single day, and it's just a matter of, is it safe? I don't know. I don't know if it's safe. Mm-hmm. I got a call after this with the NFLPA and the board of executives to try to figure out, did anything get solved in the conversation with the NFL yesterday? And for me personally, it's not about me. Like anyone who knows me knows that sometimes I can be a knucklehead and try to play through anything, right? I played with one leg in Washington, and I played a whole game with no ACL in college. If you guys remember that, against Northwestern State, which happens to be my sister's school. So I've been known to be a knucklehead and try to fight through everything. But for me, this isn't about whether or not I'm afraid of catching COVID-19 or getting coronavirus. It's about my family, right? I don't want to do that, put myself in harm's way, and then I come home and I get my family sick. I think that's a bigger issue for me, and I think that's a bigger issue for a lot of players. It's just a matter of, is this safe? Is this the safest thing to do? And right now, I'm not getting anything that says it's safe. I'm not getting anything that says, we're doing the best thing we can do for the players. I understand the money. I definitely understand the money. And it's not just for the players. It's not just for the owners. It's for the state, right? It's for the workers who help put on these events and everything. So everybody's looking at their livelihood flashing before their eyes. And it's just a matter of, is your life more important than money?
The NBA is doing their thing in their bubble right now where, again, their players aren't going to see their families for a few months, especially the teams that continue to advance into this tournament that they're doing.
Could NFL teams sustain that? NBA teams are much smaller. NFL teams, very large, a lot of support staff, a lot of things. Could you support that? Could a team really do that from July straight through to February?
I mean, I want to be clear. Like, I support playing the game. I support doing it in a safe way. The problem with the NFL compared to the NBA, you've already mentioned, there's more people in the NFL, and it's easier to do a bubble format in the NBA because you can get 322 players in the same city and have them housed and create this bubble to where they're not leaving. But in the NFL, it's really, really hard to bring thousands of players to the same city and do it that way. So we're going to be in a bubble in our facility, but when we leave the facility and go home, who knows what guys are going to do? And I've heard some people say we should, maybe find guys who are out there doing things that are against the rules. But I don't think that, implementing a new fine system to take money away from guys is a good idea. It's going to be a lot harder to do the bubble format for the NFL, which is why we're going to have to do things to try to create a bubble in individual cities. Maybe if meetings are virtual, we're only on the field for a certain amount of time to reduce the amount of contact we have with each other, because football is a contact sport, and it's 11 on 11. You're gonna have to do that. You're gonna have to hit. You're gonna have to get tackled before the season starts. So it's an interesting situation the NFL is in, because we are probably the most contact sport in a time where contact is the enemy.
Robert, you mentioned the NFLPA discussion in about an hour, and are you the rep for Baltimore?
I am not the NFLPA rep for Baltimore. That's Ronnie Stanley and Morgan Cox, our punter, and then Marlon Humphrey is our alternate. So
okay,
I've stayed in close communication and contact with all those guys, and have kept my ear to the floor on everything that's been going on. But I'm not the union rep for the Ravens.
Okay. I have another question. I asked you about your confidence. You have been very much out on social media during these last you've always been there, but the last 2 or 3 months with what this country has faced and where it is. And I saw your 6.5 minute video commentary about America. When you released that, how long did it take for you to come up with the words? And was that just something that you came straight out of your heart and soul?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely came straight out of my heart and soul. I kind of sat down with my wife and the Ravens. That was part of a bigger video with the Ravens, and they wanted us to kind of sit down and just talk. And they didn't care if it was, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours. They just wanted us to talk about whether it be our experiences or what we want the world to know or what we hope to have in America. And I talked to him. I said, man, I don't know if I could do that, because I could go on for hours about this. So I sat down with my wife and I said, let me just get my thoughts together, figure out what I want to address and what I want to say to try to keep it succinct so that the message is clear. So when I got on the interview or, the Zoom meeting with the Ravens and they started recording, I did it in one take. And the reason I was able to do it in one take is because if you're talking from the heart and you're speaking from what you know, it's very easy to remember what you're going to say. And, me and my wife probably sat down for about an hour, kind of ironed it out, had an idea of what I wanted to say, and didn't try to script it. So when I went and I did it with the Ravens, it took me one take, and they were speechless afterwards. And I asked them if they weren't going to use the entire, take, could I get it so I could post it on my own? And they were gracious enough to let me do that and put it together for me. So I just wanted people to know that there's certain things that a lot of us don't talk about, not just in the majority communities, but also in the minority communities. And a lot of reasons we don't talk about it is because we're afraid of the backlash. But now more than ever is the right time to speak up and support each other. Your issues are my issues, and the issues that I have in my community are yours. And we have to try to be the America that we've always wanted to be. We just never been that. And accepting that fact is part of the solution, because then you can get better.
Do you feel like people listen to you?
I do. I don't really attribute, likes and retweets to whether or not people are listening. But it did get a fair amount of likes and retweets. And I think that the communication I've gotten from the message whether it be via email, text message, people I know, that it was well received. Because I feel like sometimes when we're so, people get passionate about certain issues and it all turns into an argument. When all we need to do is really just have a conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have a conversation so that we can figure out how to implement change, right? If I just post that video and I don't do anything in the community or work with any local or state governments or politicians to try to fix things, then I'm just doing it for show.
Right.
And I think a lot of that is what happens, and I just don't want to be that guy. So I would never post anything like that in the past because I was doing things behind the scenes. I was doing things silently, and I felt like that was enough. But because of everything that's happened, I felt like it was the right time to not just do it silently, but also to do it publicly. And I want to be an agent for change. I want people to be the change that they want to see in the world. And I know it sounds cliche, but it's the best way to get it done.
Robert, we hear the term uncomfortable conversations a lot, and I've actually found over this time that they're really only uncomfortable in the first couple of minutes, and then after that, they're pretty good, aren't they? I mean, you get to learn things that you would have never had if you hadn't just brought up this one topic that scares you a little bit.
Yeah, and I think, just in general, like when I got into the league, people, advisors telling me, don't ever talk about race, religion, or politics. Right, because those are the budding issues, the issues that people really, for lack of a better word, say get in their feelings about. So yeah, those conversations can be awkward at first because people are defensive about what they believe in. But if you just take the idea that, look, I'm going to listen to you, I'm going to hear you out so that I can learn from your experiences that I've truly never experienced, I think that's where the growth happens. So yeah, the conversation might be a little awkward at first, but after that, then it's a healthy conversation. It's not me telling you that you're wrong. It's just if you're a white male in America, you don't go through a lot of the things that a black male in America goes through. So you have to listen to be able to learn from those experiences and not just automatically say, oh, that's an excuse. Oh, you're just pulling the race card. It's let me listen to you so I can understand where you're coming from before I go ahead and make a judgment on where I think you're coming from.
Robert, do you feel like, and I've asked you this in a different way in a different part of the topic about your confidence based on your back in the league and what you're doing. Do you feel like the timing of you now in year 2 with Baltimore and what you're trying to say or what you're trying to teach people with this day and age of America is kind of,
storm?
Perfect storm, perfect timing?
Yeah, I do. I think it's everything is aligning, right? I have a story to tell from my own experiences, professionally and personally. And the way that 2020 shaped up, it's been like one of the most tumultuous years I've ever seen in my 30 years of life, right? And just everything that's gone on and all the uncertainty, I think it has been a perfect storm to be able to speak up, not only for what's right, but also to be a leader with the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Ravens have always told me just be yourself, be yourself, be yourself, and everything else will take care of itself. So I think that's just what I try to do, be myself with this team. I think I've earned the respect of my teammates with everything that I've done and everything that I've been through in my career. And I think that when I speak on these types of issues, I'm heard. And I think that's the most important thing. It's not just about talking. It's about being able to influence people in a positive way.
4x100, former Baylor football players. You mentioned the 4x100. We've had Tevin Reese on. We've had Corey Coleman on. We've had Clay Fuller, who would be a dark horse pick here. 4x100.
Lake.
We've had Lake on. A 4x100, no matter if you're the anchor or not, because I know you're going to be on it. I'm putting you on the spot. 4x100 Baylor football players.
4x100 Baylor football players. Of course, I'm going to be biased, right? I'm going to have to include the guys that I played with, right?
Right.
So, man, that's a hard one because Lake's definitely on the relay. I'm putting Lake at second leg. I'm probably putting Tevin Reese as my third leg, and then for me, I got to go with Lanier Sampson.
Wow.
Lanier Sampson is going to be my first leg because all the other guys that I would have to be on there would have to be the anchor, and I'm not giving up the anchor. So, you know, I mean, I just got to be guys. Come on, I got to be honest, right? You got the Josh Gordon, you got these, you know, you got the Antoine Goodley. These guys are all track based guys, or should I say football players who ran track. But Lanier Sampson is the only guy that I know. Every time we ran 40s, he ran a 4.3 40, and he's the best starter I've ever seen in my life. So it'd be Lanier. It'd be Lanier to Lake Seastrunk to Devin Reese, and then I'm bringing down the anchor.
Okay. Charlie Brewer today was a part of the Davey O'Brien Award, and RG3 is our guest on Sikkim 365 Radio, and I know we're wrapping it up, and you've got to go. He's a part of the Davey O'Brien Award. You've seen him blossom from when he took over a dumpster fire record and team his freshman year to where he is today. Your thoughts about what he represents, how tough he is, and what he's done with the program?
Oh man, I'm a fan. I am 100% a fan of Charlie, and you know, luckily with Charlie, I've been able to be a mentor also, and that was something that was really important to me because I had that a little bit with Odell James when he was a part of the program early on in my Baylor career, but I really wanted to be that for some of the guys as I continue to grow up and experience these things at the next level. So I've been able to be a mentor for Charlie, and I think what he represents is honestly what everyone else has already said, right? He's one of the toughest people that I know with all the injuries and especially the head injuries that he had to deal with last year, still going out there, putting it on the line for his team. I'm excited to see him, whether it be this fall or the spring or whenever the football season is, in this new offense. Because I think it's going to bring the best out of him. It's going to bring a little bit of that flair on the offensive side of the ball that we had when I was there. So I think for Charlie, the biggest thing is not worrying about anything other than going out there, having fun, being with his guys. Everything else will take care of itself. The NFL will be there, right? He can stay healthy. He can go out there and be that tough, gritty player that we need him to be. So I'm a big fan of his, and I've been blessed to be able to mentor him over the past couple of years.
My last question for you. You've had it all. Heisman Trophy, 10-3, won a bowl game, number 2 pick in the draft, all these endorsements, Rookie of the Year, phenomenal start to your NFL career. So you've had it all at your fingertips, and then all of a sudden some of it, and then a lot of it disappeared. What is it like to be happy again and feel the way you do?
Oh, man. I mean, you know, I don't really get this question that often because people mostly like to look at it in a negative way. But for me, having all of that at my fingertips and then having it all be taken away either by injury or whatever happened in my career, it really showed me, who is really there for me. You know what I mean? It's easy for people to be there for you when everything's riding high, but when things don't go your way and they start going downhill or downhill quickly, it's really it can be really tough, and you know who's really there for you. So the happiness part for me comes from hitting rock bottom, having to hit reset, and then understanding that not only is this what I'm called to do, this is what I want to do, right? And because of that, I was able to take that opportunity with the Ravens and run with it. When most guys who would be in my situation would say, okay, I'm not going to do that, guys. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to sit on my money. I'm going to move to Costa Rica and I'm going to relax for the rest of my life. But that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be the guy who had the pen in my hand to write my story however I deemed fit, and no one was ever going to be able to say that I quit. So over the course of the years, I've been able to eliminate the people from my life who weren't there for the right reasons. And now I'm able to be happy. And I think people see that when I go play. They see that when I'm on the playing in the games or I'm there for my teammates. They see that in me because, I've always been a guy, I can't really hide emotion that well. So I've always been a guy that, I smile when it's genuine and I'm pumped when it's genuine. And I think people see that from me. And the messages I've gotten over the past 2 years have all been, hey, RG, it's great to see you having fun playing the game again. So I think I was able to realize that through hardship. And you never have a testimony if you never have a test. And I've had one of the biggest tests, and I've been through probably more in the first 7 years of my career than any other quarterback has been in the first 7 years of their career, whether it's the highest of the highs, being an MVP candidate, the lowest of the lows, being out of the league. and then clawing your way back in. So hopefully I can continue this to tell this story for the next 10, 15 years and have it written with all my dreams and goals accomplished.
It's a great time to have you again, friend. Thank you very much, RG3. Appreciate your time.
All right, guys. Much love.
Robert Griffin III with us on Sikkim 365 Radio. How often have you said it's time to get in shape? Every day, every week, every month, maybe for as long as you can remember? How about starting today? I promise if you'll just join Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness now, you'll thank me later. Hi, this is David Smoke, offering a variety of 40 group exercise classes every single week, including boot camp on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:15, plus spin, body shaping, Pilates, yoga, and bar. And there's a free kids club as well. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness open Monday through Thursday, 5 to 10, Friday, 5 to 8, Saturday and Sunday, 7 to 7, and personal trainers, Christy London and Randall Corey. World-class tennis facility with pros Britt Coleman and Joe Rosa with lessons, camps, and special events. Spacious and clean workout rooms, locker room for men and women, both with a whirlpool and sauna, and now there's touchless bottle filling stations. No intimidation, tremendous camaraderie, an entirely new atmosphere, and yes, you can do this, but you have to walk through the front door. It's time to react today, not tomorrow. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
It's summer. Time to go somewhere in a new Jeep from Allen Samuels. It's our huge summer clearance event featuring 0% for 72 and no payments for 90 days on our hottest models. Pick a new 2020 Jeep Cherokee Latitude with $5,750 in total values or 0% for 72 and no payments for 90 days. Or the fun 2020 Jeep Renegade with up to $7,000 in total values or 0% for 72. Adios 2020s from Allen Samuels.
We're fighting hard at Pickup Outfitters in our battle to end truck nudity. But it's not just about putting an outfit on a naked truck, it's about making sure you have the very best customer service. So we offer the Pickup Outfitters Lifetime Installation Guarantee. Over time, sometimes your outfit needs a little tune-up, maybe some tightening, adjusting, whatever. If you outfitted your truck at Pickup Outfitters, that tune-up is absolutely no charge for the remainder of the time you own that truck. We also offer free warranty assistance. If for any reason you need to use your warranty, you just bring it back to us and we take care of it. It just makes sense. I mean, operating without a promise like that would be like offering customer service in the nude. And if you've seen our staff, trust me, you don't want that. So do your part to end truck nudity by outfitting your truck, Jeep, SUV, or van at Pickup Outfitters, 220 Lake Air Drive in Waco, where we promise to serve you fully clothed. Check out our website, createacommotion.com.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The Sikkim 365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
Give a little plug. I drove by the course earlier this week. I mentioned it to you, but Bear Ridge Golf Club, which was Twin Rivers, opened up their new greens. And yes, they still have work to be done. The heat is great for golf courses when they're trying to redo fairways, grass, anything like that, greens, rough, because it gets to a certain level at night, a certain temperature, and it just like really grows. But they opened up. Tommy Tompkins, who we had on when we were at the radio show, he took this on. He bought the club, bought the golf club. It was Twin Rivers from Bob Rivers. I mean, Bob who am I thinking, Bob?
Bob Richards.
Bob Richards. It had gotten into some really bad shape. They've redone a lot. They've kind of actually done bunkers the way you're supposed to do them by not just putting in sand in a hole, but you got to worry about the drainage.
I do think, like, I laugh, and I know that was
lining.
bad, especially for the people who are members and who live and who bought houses on that course and, invested in that neighborhood. I laugh. I mean, it seems like an obvious thing, like to make a sand trap is just stand in a hole, but but to know like anything about sand and the way you want it to stay in place. Well, if you get any weather, all you want the rain to do is just pack down the sand until it dries. Well, if you don't have anything underneath it, it's just going to continue falling into the ground and mixing with the soil that's underneath it. So yeah, that was such a strange thing to me to have that, like, there's a whole science to it. And anytime that, like, it's fine to discount shop to find a good deal, but anytime you start going into business to save money, you're going to lose it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, no, you're right. You're exactly right. And it's also, and I love our sponsors for what they've allowed us to do, but the ownership, Ashley and Brian Colt is a part of the partnership. They said from the beginning, we know there's going to be times we need to spend money to make money. Now, they're not. You can't eventually make it if you just keep doing that. You got to have something in return, and that's why the list of sponsors we have, which has just continued to grow, with more added us to this week. But so now, when Bob Richards took over the course, and I did a lengthy interview with him, I thought it was going to be great because the other course was not getting much help. But Mike Hicks, who's now back at White Bluffs at Lake Whitney, he left and went to Bastrop. And that course just went straight to hell, even though there were people that were trying, like Jeff and others, who were trying to keep it alive. They dug a hole in front of what is, let me see, I'll go backwards, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 green, which is right there on 84. It's a par 3 up the hill. They just dug a hole in front of the green and threw sand in it. The first time it rained, 90% of the sand just washed right down the hill.
Yeah.
You gotta, there's a way to do it. So Tommy Tompkins and Bear Ridge, they're opened up to the new greens are playable, in fact, today. So good luck to them. And that's such a much-needed relief to Cottonwood Creek from having so many rounds of golf, even though they've done a great job with that.
And a lot of times you would hope, look, I hope that all of our we smite all of our competition and everything that we do, but if one of our competitors goes out of business, our workload doesn't go up ridiculously.
Right.
So if you to a point where sometimes you can't even accommodate what you need, and then you start losing business anyway because people assume I'll never get on or I'll never go here. For example, if everywhere you go in America, McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's are all right next to each other. And they don't really mind that because they know that, like, if one of them is slammed, then people just go to the other one, and they're not going to hate the McDonald's forever because everything is cyclical. So if those other two went out of business, McDonald's would probably initially be thrilled, like, hey, we've got all the fast food traffic here in this area now. But then they probably wouldn't be able to handle it because people would be going and waiting, and then it's not fast food anymore. You might as well go sit down at a restaurant if you're going to wait forever in line. So that's why they don't really mind the competition. As long as you do your job right, it's going to be fine. So if you're Cottonwood Creek, yeah, I mean, if you were the only game in town in a much smaller area, that's probably fine. But Waco's growing, and more people want to play golf. And if you can't accommodate them all, eventually that worm's going to turn, and people are going to get mad, and in spite of your best effort. So it's a good thing.
Put so much pressure, so many rounds of golf on Cottonwood Creek and even Glen Rose up at Squaw Valley, among others. I had someone, D. Carter 299 on on my direct message. He also listens to the show. Have you heard of sous vide?
I've seen the. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had it.
You know what it is, right?
Yes.
It looks like like almost what you would use to mix up. For example, if you were making some sort of dressing, it looks like a mixer. Mean, the way it's a long, like about maybe, I don't know if it's 4 to 6.
It's like a French, it's like a vacuum.
He told me, because he goes, I know you guys talk about steaks and Waco Custom Marketplace, and Brian Etheridge, of course, has become their spokesperson. He got me kicked out of doing that. But he told me about this device called sous vide, and he sent me a link, and I started looking at it. He told me this. This is for you as you go into the weekend. If you don't have one, that's fine, because it's not like it's not like $12. It could be a couple $100 or so, and even higher. But what he told me, he said, this will blow your mind for those of you who love to cook steak. You can put a seasoning in a bag and a nearly frozen steak in a Ziploc bag. Season it, whatever you want to do. Put it in the water bath at lunchtime. In other words, you got to have some water.
Yeah.
And you can remotely start the sous vide, because it hooks into your iPhone, to cook at 130 degrees, which is barely on, for medium rare, and let it cook for 2 to 4 hours until you're home. You cannot overcook. The water will never allow it to get higher than 130. Then skillet sear it, grill it, whatever you want, and it's perfect.
I've been doing the reverse sear lately.
Yeah, and
which I really like.
I got an electric smoker that I've done a couple of things with, even with steaks. It's fantastic. But just a little.
I just went on Amazon.com. You can buy like a kit, like 3 things together, including like a tub to put it in, and $105
for a sous vide.
For the whole kit, so you get the machine that does it. It's like a wand. It looks kind of like a wand.
Yeah.
And then you can buy accessories with it. If you buy it all together for $100.
It's about 2.5 times as long as your iPhone, depending on what size iPhone you buy.
Like $105.48 for.
So it has the sous vide, which is the instrument. It has the tub, which you put the water in, and it connects to the tub. Is that right?
Yeah.
And you just sit it. You don't heat the water up. Obviously, that would ruin it.
Yeah, that's what the thing does. So, yeah.
Anova Culinary is where he showed me. This one's like $199 or so. But I wanted to mention D Carter 299 on direct messages. Appreciate that.
I have a friend who works at Baylor. He often he does a lot of scorekeeping and things like that. Daniel Ramirez. He works in the marketing department. I'm sure. But Daniel Ramirez, he's a big. I see him posting on social media all the time about some of the sous vide stuff that he cooks.
All right, preseason poll. We started the show with this. The Big 12 preseason poll. Oklahoma received 80 of the 90 votes, first place votes. Oklahoma State second with 6. Texas is third overall with 727 points. Oklahoma State 742, and Oklahoma 888. So I wonder, of the 10 that did not vote for them won, how many of those 10?
80 votes.
Yeah, 80 out of 90 votes.
Yeah.
But how many of the 10, 6 for Oklahoma State and 4 for Texas, how many of those 10 votes had Oklahoma outside number 2?
I would think all of them would be number 2. I mean, because if you're picking Oklahoma State or Texas 1 or 2, what you're assuming is either in the Red River game or in Bedlam.
2 people didn't, because here's the deal. They have 888 votes. You have 80 first-place votes. That's 10. That's 800.
Yeah.
If you had 10 second-place votes, that would be 90.
Yeah.
So 2 people did not pick them to finish first. Well,
look, do I think that with a redshirt freshman quarterback that they're going to be a team that might be in the CFP this year? Probably not. But Lincoln Riley is pretty undefeated. I mean, when it comes to this quarterback's going to be good in the system.
Yeah.
So, and look, even if it's if it's not Spencer Rattler, or if Spencer Rattler gets hurt and it's Tanner Mordecai, I have complete faith that offense will still hum.
Oh, they got the offensive line. It's all back. They've got all the weapons. They got the running back, Kennedy Brooks, among others, the wide receiver, the Charleston Rambo.
And look, if Spencer Rattler.
Tight ends.
I think the curious thing, for most people is if Spencer Rattler wins that job, he's got it for 3 more years.
Yeah.
I know. Or maybe 2 at the least, but he's got it for 3 more years. So if you're Tanner Mordecai, then you start looking probably somewhere else.
You might have to do that.
It would not surprise me if Tanner just stuck it out either.
No.
But you're Tanner Mordecai. You gotta look somewhere else. But Lincoln Riley really likes him. He's unabashed about it.
I heard Brian Broaddus the other day say something about Lincoln Riley. He goes, "There's just something about him. He's taken on obviously very talented walk-ons, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, but he's made it work. And then Jalen Hurts, of course, perhaps the most talented of all of those 3. Although Kyler Murray is phenomenal." So Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Texas, 1, 2, and 3. Then there's a drop to Iowa State, Baylor 5, TCU 6, K-State, West Virginia, Texas Tech, and Kansas. I'm not so sure exactly. I couldn't find my vote. I thought I went and found it. I'm pretty sure that I might have had Iowa State 3, Texas 4, Baylor, and then TCU, and I might have had Texas Tech a notch ahead of West Virginia. Like you mentioned that as well. So Baylor at 5, that's fair. You have a coaching change. You have a coaching change and no spring drills. Mm-hmm. Now, again, Texas even replaced a ton of their staff. Who else in the conference is going through a coaching change? Nobody.
Yeah.
Wells is at Texas Tech a second year. Beatty at West Virginia a second year. K-State with Kleiman, right, second year.
Yeah.
And then Kansas with Les Miles a second year. Think about that. So Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley's been there 3 years. Gundy and Patterson have been there forever.
Neil Brown, I'm sorry. It's
Neil
not
Brown. I keep on
Brown.
saying Neil Beatty.
Yeah.
Herman's in year 5 or whatever it is, year 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But that's about right. I think that Oklahoma State, and I had Iowa State because Ellinger's the first team quarterback. That was everyone's going to fall in love with him, and he's a good player. He's very valuable for them. I'm not saying he's not, but. The guy at Iowa State's pretty damn good, and so is Charlie Brewer.
I'll say this. The only way that Texas is going to win this league is if Sam Ehlinger is less a part of the offense. That's the only way.
I know what you mean by that. Because he has to do so much for them, and on some days, if he just has a couple of bad days, he got to have something. The defense is going to have to play well and not be so inconsistent. But so Oklahoma received 80 first-place votes out of 90. That also means they received 88 second-place votes. And then they had what appears to have a couple of people that had him at number 3. All right, thanks to our guest today. Let me see. Brown BW on the Willis Law Firm chat room. Thanks, 375 Radio and website. Wouldn't make it through this mess without you guys. Brown BW, we appreciate you so much for listening. We do. We really, really do. Right now for Monday, we have at least 2 guests lined up. Daniel Sepulveda, former Baylor and NFL punter, and Micah Fugit, who's from Waco, is a PGA Tour caddy. He'll be in Minneapolis next week. He's caddying for former Texas star Doug Gim. So we'll have those 2. I'm working on a couple of others. One of them's a Hall of Famer. One of them won a Heisman Trophy winner that we haven't had on yet. So looking forward to that as well. So we'll know Monday a little bit more maybe from the UIL. We'll also and we'll maybe know more what's going on a little bit more with college football. By the way, this is from on a direct message that I got on Sikkim 365. Interesting times in Tyler. You might not remember, but I talked to you in the lobby at the Holiday Bowl. Paul, that was when that one guy wanted to accost us. Remember that? This wasn't him, though.
Well, you remember we had the one guy was all over us, and then those other guys stepped in for us and took care of him so we could finish doing what we were doing. I wish I would have known those guys so we could still send them a thank you card because we were already going to be up really late and had to get up early to get on our flight because that had all changed. And I remember thinking are we going to have a thing where we have to deal with it tonight? We're really working hard to get this done. We've had so much stuff to put together.
This guy, he was from Tyler. He talked about the name changes of Lee and John Tyler, and they'll have that down. Again, I mentioned Hayes Consolidated is no longer going to be the Rebels. They've changed their name as well. And you wonder, because if Lee now changed after they had been pushed a little bit and then it kind of walked away, then now they're going to change both of them. Will they start to look at San Antonio Lee? Will they look at Midland Lee? And I don't know, are all Lee high schools named after Robert E. Lee?
I mean, most of them probably are.
Is there another Lee that I don't know about?
I mean, I'm sure there is, and there's plenty of people named Lee.
So. I'm not so. There's a Baytown Lee.
Mm-hmm.
But just a thought. But this Gold Digger just sent me a note. He went to Robert E. Lee. He played with Fred Coleman, Andy Newberry. That team back in the early '80s came to Baylor on a track scholarship, ran for Clyde Hart. Pretty good stuff. Good to hear from you, Gold Digger. Thanks for the thing. Oh, thanks to is Deontay helping us today?
Yes.
Deontay from Social Distancing Quality Afar. Craig Smoke for helping feed stories to us as well. And also thanks to our great sponsors for what we do here at Sikkim 365 Radio.
By the way, sorry not to cut you off. Midland Lee, there's a petition to actually keep the name, and there's petitions to change the name.
Oh, yeah.
And so right now, I think they're in that part of, what do we do?
It's the checklist.
Yeah, I would say if your high school is named after Robert E. Lee, just start getting used to the fact that the name's going to be different.
I actually had somebody respond to me yesterday when I just tweeted out the story of the decision. You do know that Robert E. Lee never did own any slaves.
Yeah, but he did fight to keep them. So, again, it's one of those, and here's the other thing. A lot of people will tell you, and this is very, very true, but in that era, a lot of guys didn't, they just accepted slavery, which makes it terribly wrong even still, but they went with their state. So if Virginia had stayed with the Union, Robert E. Lee would have fought with the Union, and he had won a lot of battles for the Union Army, for the United States Army before this happened.
Is from Billups. He goes, Lee was a respected man, but he was still a slave owner. He said this to Congress on March 3rd of 1854. The blacks are immeasurably better off here than in Africa, morally, socially, and physically. The painful discipline they're undergoing is necessary for their instruction as a race.
Yeah, see, that's why it's bad. That's why you get rid of